Chapter 1436. By Taesong, who was sent flying by Night Sorrow's kick, shook and regained control of his body. Then his body flashed and began to escape. Night Sorrow didn't chase because it was useless. Bai Taesong was too fast. After attacking Bai Taesong twice and injuring Bai Taesong, Night Sorrow was already satisfied with the result of burning his essence blood. Datira, Lord Shinhu, and the others also arrived at Night Sorrow's side. This guy is like a frightened bird, he won't fight you head-on. Datira said. His speed is too terrifying. If we don't exhaust him to the point where he can't burn his essence blood, it will be very difficult to kill him. Let's continue chasing. Night Sorrow said. Then, Night Sorrow led the group and chased after him. He wanted to pressure Bai Taesong. If you want to run, then continue burning your essence blood. If you slow down, then we will catch up. After using his soul power to check the situation, Bai Taesong was furious. However, he could only burn his essence blood to increase his speed and avoid Night Sorrow and the other soul power detection area. There's nothing we can do about it. Let's go back and wait. Let's see where he went. Night Sorrow said after Bai Taesong disappeared from their soul power detection area. After returning to Flaming Cloud City, Night Sorrow drank tea while trying to sense Bai Taesong's location. However, he could only sense the general area. What's the situation? Datira looked at Night Sorrow and asked. This fellow is constantly moving. He hasn't stopped. Let's wait and see. He'll eventually stop, Yishan said. Bai Taesong was very puzzled. How did Night Sorrow and the others track him to Flaming Cloud Canyon? Shinwu World was billions of miles wide. If they could track him to Flaming Cloud Canyon, then they must have locked onto him. Bai Taesong felt that this might be the result of the fortune-teller's divination, so he didn't dare to stop now. If he stopped, he might be tracked. Bai Taesong had lived for countless years and cultivated to the Heaven Master realm. He was very experienced and knowledgeable. He knew that if he wanted to survive now, he had to avoid being hunted down. The Shinwu Great World was no longer safe. No one chased after him. Bai Taesong ate some healing pills and entered the small city. He then took the teleportation circle and teleported to another high-level world. He then continued to teleport to another world. He wanted to find a safe and secluded place to heal and recuperate. If he couldn't fight against Night Sorrow, he definitely wouldn't appear. He wasn't stupid. He knew that if he wasn't careful and continued like this, he could easily die. The moment Bai Taesong left the Shinwu Great World, Night Sorrow stood up because he could not sense Bai Taesong's situation. He left the Shinwu Great World. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow shook his head helplessly. The soul locking technique is no longer effective? Datira asked. Yes, it's gone. He should have left the Shinwu Great World. However, I don't know which space he went to. The last place he left should be Wujiang City. Night Sorrow said as he pointed at the map. This is the Heavenly Moon Pavilion's territory. We can still check which worlds Wujiang City is connected to, said the Three Sons Lord of Heaven. Then check. After you're done, let's go to those worlds. I can find his location in the same world, Night Sorrow said. As soon as Night Sorrow finished speaking, a golden light appeared in the sky and landed on Night Sorrow's head. The golden light of merit. Night Sorrow had forced Bai Taesong to retreat. The Shinwu Great World had stabilized. This was a boundless merit. Night Sorrow took out a futon and sat down to meditate. It stabilized. The divine martial origin thinks that the chaos has passed, said Lord of Heaven God Hu. He naturally knew that it was the golden light of merit. Lord of Heaven God Hu, Three Sons Lord of Heaven. Even if we chase after him, there won't be much of an effect. Bai Taesong is not stupid. He will definitely try his best to hide. He has been the leader of a force for many years. It's impossible for him to only have the creation Immortal Pavilion's spatial Dharma treasure. If he went to another spatial world and entered a spatial Dharma treasure to heal, we won't be able to find him, Datira said. Yes, we did not prepare properly. However, after being beaten up to this extent by Commander Knight, he won't dare to come out easily. He won't dare to return to the Shinwu Great World either. The Three Sons Lord of Heaven nodded. He knew that although they had not killed Bai Taesong would not dare to come out. Night Sorrow cultivated for 2 hours before standing up. 8. Our network. Yongru Geoffrey watch Little E say one Night Sorrow's body of merit had reached the critical point of becoming a Merit Supreme Sage. He just needed one more step, and he would become a Merit Supreme Sage. Night Sorrow also had some enlightenment. He did not have this opportunity in the Reincarnation Great World, or the Shimwu Great World. The 3,000 realms were a whole. Night Sorrow did not know if there were other groups of 3,000 realms like this. However, he knew that the Reincarnation Great World, the Shimwu Great World, and the Black-Yellow Great World were part of a group of 3,000 realms. Each Great World ruled 1,000 realms. Night Sorrow had already obtained merit from the Reincarnation Great World and the Shimwu Great World. If he wanted to break through the critical point, he could only obtain merit from the Black-Yellow Great World. Night Sorrow shook his head. He knew that it was best to let nature take its course. If he wanted to become a Merit Supreme Sage, he would be at a disadvantage. His master, the Qing Emperor, knew a lot. However, he was still not a Merit Supreme Sage. He was not even a body of merit. Upon seeing Night Sorrow stand up, Heaven Lord Shenhu and the others cupped their fists at Night Sorrow. It is indeed very difficult for us to catch him now. However, I believe that he will not dare to come out easily. How about this? You guys should contact each other. This is my messaging crystal. If that fellow appears and attacks you, you can contact me immediately. I will rush over. Night Sorrow took out a messaging crystal and handed it to Heaven Lord Three Suns. I am very grateful to Commander Night. Let's go to the Shimwu city to rest and set up a banquet, Heaven Lord Three Suns said. Commander Night, I said last time that if you come to the Shimwu Great World after the Realm War, you will be a distinguished guest of the Zhanwu dynasty. This time, you must treat Commander Night to a drink. Don't mind what happened in the past, Heaven Lord Shenhu said. I will drink this wine. Night Sorrow nodded. He did not want to reject such an offer. Heaven Lord Shenhu brought a group of people to one of his courtyards in the Shimwu city. Three Suns, Songling Nanhua, the realm war last time was my fault. I will apologize to everyone here. After instructing his servants to prepare some food and wine, Heaven Lord Shenhu bowed to the other Heaven Lords of the Shimwu Great World. You must not be impulsive in the future. However, now that the calamity is over, it is a new beginning, Heaven Lord Three Suns said. Night Sorrow, this favor does not count. I am grateful for your mercy last time. This is a small gift I have prepared for you. Heaven Lord Shenhu took out a storage ring. There is no need. There is really no need. You guys suffered a lot during the realm war last time. Night Sorrow rejected with a smile. In that case, I will give you this mansion. You will have a place to stay in the Shimwu Great World. You cannot reject this, Heaven Lord Shenhu said. Chapter 1437. Lord God who this isn't very appropriate, Night Sorrow said. He didn't want it, but he didn't know how to reject it. How is it inappropriate? No one is taking care of it. You don't have to worry about it. The servants here will be taken care of, Lord God who said. Just accept it. Actually, we have a favor to ask of you. You have a mansion in Shimwu Great World. Bai Taesong won't dare to come back even if he finds out, Lord God who said. Night Sorrow, I didn't think of this. I'm really not plotting against you. Lord God who felt a little awkward after hearing Lord God who's words. It's fine. I'll accept the mansion. Just leave the servants here. Night Sorrow nodded. He understood that Lord God who wasn't plotting against him. While drinking, the people of Shimwu Great World elected the Lord of Shimwu City. Everyone chose Lord God who. However, Lord God who took the initiative to make some promises. Bai Taesong's forbearance had caused Lord God who's temperament to change. Night Sorrow and Datura just listened and didn't say anything. After drinking and expressing their gratitude again, Lord God who and the others left, leaving Datura and Night Sorrow drinking tea and chatting. This mansion is in the best location in Shimwu City. 100,000 Saint Spirit stones wouldn't be enough to buy it. However, this mansion is a little troublesome. Only the two of us can live here. It won't be safe for other people, Datura said. Just leave it there. We'll come and take a look when we have time. Let's go to the Shimwu Fighting Paradise to take a look, Night Sorrow said to Datura. Datira nodded. She respected Night Sorrow's opinion. She also wanted to see it. It was the face of Shinwu Great World. It was on the same level as the Reincarnation Palace in the Reincarnation Great World, and the Heaven and Earth Pavilion in the Black-Yellow Great World. Night Sorrow and Datira strolled towards the Divine Martial Fighting Paradise, located south of the Divine Martial City. As soon as Night Sorrow arrived, there was a burst of energy, and the Divine Martial Origin body wearing a simple robe appeared. Super cool 9. It was not the first time that Night Sorrow had come into contact with the world's origin, so he could tell at a glance. Night Sorrow and Datira cupped their hands towards the Divine Martial Source body. This was out of courtesy. No matter how the realm war went, there was nothing wrong with showing some respect to a world source that had grown for countless years. The Divine Martial Origin body looked at Night Sorrow for a while before nodding. The Shinwu Great World's realm war was not an unjust loss. I'm sorry. I'm a cultivator from the Reincarnation World. I have to win this war for the Reincarnation World, Night Sorrow said. You are from the Reincarnation World. You are now, but you might not be in the future. However, it's not wrong for you to contribute to the realm war. The Divine Martial Origin body looked at Night Sorrow and said, Is it now or in the future? Night Sorrow did not understand. You are the realm lord of the Supreme Origin World. In the future, it will also be a great world. You are a talent from that great world. The Divine Martial Origin body explained. I understand. I still have to apologize for hurting the Shinwu Great World. Night Sorrow cupped his hands towards the Divine Martial Origin body again. You don't have to apologize. On the contrary, I should be thanking you for helping me deal with the aftermath, the Divine Martial Origin body said. It's still not done well. If he escapes, he will become a hidden danger sooner or later, Night Sorrow said. I don't think so. He obtained the Origin Battle Armor in the Battling Heaven. It's the Divine Martial Origin Battle Armor. After he loses his virtue, I can't go back on my words and take back the armor. However, I won't be able to buff it anymore. If he keeps using it in the Shinwu Great World, it won't be a problem. However, once he leaves the Shinwu Great World, the origin power will slowly dissipate. Furthermore, after being pierced by you a few times, much of its origin power has been consumed, the Divine Martial Origin body said. It will dissipate slowly. As long as we can hold on until the Origin Battle Armor loses its power, he will no longer be a threat. Night Sorrow nodded. 20 years. In the next 20 years, help me protect the Shinwu Great World. After 20 years, the Origin Battle Armor will only be slightly stronger than a Monarch weapon, the Divine Martial Origin body said to Night Sorrow. 20 years is not a problem. If Bai Taesong appears, I will make a move. Night Sorrow frowned. Bai Taesong's Origin Battle Armor would lose its power. Would his reincarnation have this drawback? You don't have to worry. You are the Lord of the Origin of the Sovereign World. You also have the Sovereign Attribute. Your origin is compatible with your attribute. No one can take it away from you. The Reincarnation Origin will only buff and modify it. The Divine Martial Origin body saw Night Sorrow's worry. After hearing the Divine Martial Origin body's words, Night Sorrow felt at ease. He didn't like unstable factors. Reincarnation was too important to him. You will help me protect the Shinwu Great World for 20 years. I will remember this favor. You have the luck and merit in the Reincarnation World. You will have the same luck and merit in the Shinwu Great World. The Divine Martial Origin body nodded to Night Sorrow. After making a promise, the Divine Martial Origin body disappeared. In front of the Divine Martial Battle Heaven, Datira and the two returned to the mansion. Before returning to the mansion, Night Sorrow noticed that the mansion's signboard had been changed. The original signboard with the words God Tiger had disappeared. Instead, it was replaced by the Yi Mansion signboard. You are quite fast. Not bad. Night Sorrow looked at the signboard and said, It is also a family property. Moreover, it is a family property that no one will covet easily. Datira said with a smile. At the very least, no one will touch this mansion when the top forces are in charge in the Shinwu Great World. Night Sorrow smiled. Lord God Tiger and the others' attitudes had changed. They respected him very much. Not only would they not touch this mansion, but they would also not allow others to touch it. In addition, the Yi Mansion was not a place that anyone could touch as they wished. To be exact, no one dared to touch it. Night Sorrow's name was not only in the reincarnation world, but also in the Shenwu Great World. Night Sorrow pulled Datira into the mansion. After drinking 2 cups of wine, Night Sorrow and Datira took the teleportation formation back to the reincarnation world. Seeing that Night Sorrow had returned, Qing Emperor was very happy and set up a banquet. "Master, how is the situation now?" Night Sorrow asked. "Very good. He has completely recovered. His cultivation has also improved slightly." "Very good," Qing Emperor said with a smile. He knew what Night Sorrow was asking about. "Good." Night Sorrow nodded vigorously. Night Sorrow was most worried about Qing Emperor's health. "Ha! You should be relieved now," Qing Emperor said with a smile. "I am relieved. Later, I will go to Yuandao Heaven to have a look," Night Sorrow said. "It's good to go and have a look. You may not know that Yuandao Heaven is in a bad situation now. There is also trouble in the Xuanhuan Great World. Demons like those in Yuandao Heaven's seal have appeared inexplicably. They seem to come from the same place and have the same origin," Qing Emperor said. Chapter 1438. What is fate? Qing Emperor looked at Night Sorrow. The fate of the deluxe merit sage is 3 groups of worlds and 3,000 worlds. Merit cannot be biased. In other words, no matter what I do in the Samsara Great World, I will not become the deluxe merit sage. The deluxe merit sage not only needs the approval of the world's origin, but also the approval of the heavenly way. I do not deliberately seek merit. If something happens in the Shenwu Great World, I will help if I can. If there is a demon invasion in the Xuanhuan Great World, it will be best if there is merit. Even if there is no merit, there are some things that need to be done. After all, Master and City Lord Tang are best friends, and I also have friends there, Night Sorrow said. Your path is different from ordinary cultivators, so I can't see it clearly. Just follow your heart, Qing Emperor said. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that there were some things that needed to be done naturally. There was no need to force it. When the time was right, the opportunity would come. This was fate. After the banquet, Night Sorrow and Datira left the Samsara City Lord's mansion. They took the teleportation formation back to the 9-story building. Night Sorrow arrived at the Sky Tiger Pass. He looked at the soldiers of the 9 Heavens Legion and the members of the God-slaying team. After staying in the 9-story building for a while, Night Sorrow told Datira that he planned to go to the Yuandao sky to take a look. Okay, then go. Come back early. I will go to the Dark Abyss to take a look, Datira said. She was very confident in Night Sorrow's safety. It was not easy for anyone to kill Night Sorrow now. Even Bai Taesong, who had the origin battle armor, could not do it, let alone others. Then go and take a look. Come back early, Night Sorrow said. Okay, I will go and take a look. I just need to tell them what to do. There is no war now. Let others do it. Datira nodded. Then Night Sorrow packed up and set off. Yuandao Sky was quite far from Reincarnation City. After Night Sorrow used a few teleportation arrays, he started to fly because Yuandao Tian was in the Boundless Sea region. There were many islands in the Endless Sea domain, and Yuandao Tian was one of them. If he didn't have a map and didn't know where to go, he would never be able to find Yuandao Tian. Night Sorrow flew for half an hour and arrived at a small island. He then entered a special stone forest. Following the path on the map, Night Sorrow arrived at a teleportation channel. Teleporting to another small island, Night Sorrow left the teleportation array and walked for a while before entering an iron forest. Night Sorrow arrived in front of a huge 3-pronged iron tree. With a flash, he leaped onto the tree. 200 feet above the tree, there was a small man-made platform with a teleportation array on it. After Night Sorrow finished teleporting, he arrived at a huge island. This was the headquarters of Yuandao Tian. As soon as Night Sorrow came out, he was stopped by 2 sovereigns. Who are you? Why are you here? Asked one of the sovereigns. I am here to visit Yuandao Tian, said Night Sorrow. Hand over your weapons and I will report it. Otherwise, don't blame us for being impolite, said the sovereign. Knight Sorrow wouldn't agree to hand over his weapons, so he wouldn't let anyone else do it. I'm standing right here. Can't you report it? Asked Knight Sorrow. No, you must hand over your weapons, said the sovereign coldly. All right, pretend I didn't come. Since the other party insisted on making him hand over his weapons, Knight Sorrow had no choice but to leave. Yuan Daotian, do you think you can come and go as you please? The sovereign pulled out her weapons. Stop, don't be rude. Just as Knight Sorrow raised his hand to grab Samsara, Yufeng appeared. Greetings, Commander. Greetings, Commander. The two sovereigns and Yufeng who were guarding the teleportation array bowed respectfully. The two monarchs guarding the teleportation array bowed to Yufeng, and Yufeng bowed to Yishan. You're finally here. If you hadn't come, I wouldn't have been able to enter or leave. This is really worrying, said Knight Sorrow bitterly. What's wrong with you two? Don't you know what's going on? Can't you report that this is a guest of the Heavenly Lord? Yufeng glared at the two sovereigns. Commander Yufeng, it's nothing, said Knight Sorrow. He really didn't care about the two sovereigns blocking his way. I'm sorry that this happened. I'm really sorry. At this time, Yuan Daotian appeared. When Knight Sorrow touched Samsara, his aura leaked out, and Yuan Daotian noticed it. Heavenly Lord, you're too polite. It's nothing. However, weapons are the lifeblood of us cultivators. It's really not very appropriate to hand over weapons, said Knight Sorrow. The two of you acted on your own accord. Go to the cliff of reflection, and reflect on your mistakes. Weapons are what cultivators rely on to survive. You're asking for someone else's weapon. Isn't that the same as asking for someone else's life? Said Yuan Daotian angrily as he looked at the two sovereigns who were making things difficult for Knight Sorrow. At this time, the two sovereigns bowed to Knight Sorrow and apologized. I'm here to visit Heavenly Lord because I'm happy. I feel bad that they were punished because of me, said Knight Sorrow. All right, the two of you be careful in the future. Commander Knight, let's go. Yuan Daotian led Knight Sorrow into Yuan Daotian. You two bastards. That's the commander of our Samsara World's Alliance army. You want to hand over his weapon? Yufeng glared at the two sovereigns who were guarding the teleportation formation. He's very young. Who knew that he was the commander of the Alliance army? Heavenly Lord, you're too polite, said the female sovereign. She was a member of Yuan Daotian's primordial hall, Huangyu. Young man, if you don't accept it, he can chase after a sky pillar and kill you. Killing you two is as easy as squashing ants. Don't talk nonsense and remember today's lesson. Yufeng was somewhat dissatisfied with Huangyu's attitude because Yishan was someone he respected. Knight Sorrow and Yuan Daotian arrived at Yuan Daotian's primordial hall. I received news that you went to kill Bai Taesong again, said Yuan Daotian after sitting down. It's embarrassing to say that he still managed to escape. I didn't succeed in chasing him down, said Knight Sorrow. It's embarrassing. It's an awe-inspiring thing, said Yuan Daotian with a smile. The two of them chatted casually. Knight Sorrow talked about chasing after Bai Taesong. So what if he ran? He's very afraid of you. He won't dare to act recklessly in the future, said Yuan Daotian. Indeed, it's not much of a threat. His origin energy armor will become weaker and weaker. Once the origin energy armor loses its power, others will be able to fight against him. Knight Sorrow explained what had happened when he saw the divine martial origin. Most N7 new chapters are cool X, that's good. It's really a troubled time. Xuanhuan Great World is a bit chaotic. The demons are very strong. It's really a disaster. Yuan Daotian sighed. Chapter 1439. It wasn't very stable before. However, after the chaos in the black-yellow Great World, Yuandao Heaven became relatively stable. There are some things that you might not know. I know more about them, so I'll tell you about them, Yuandao Lord of Heaven said. Yuandao Lord of Heaven then told Knight Sorrow some things. Yuandao Heaven was the oldest force in the reincarnation Great World. Yuandao Lord of Heaven knew some things that others didn't know. The reincarnation Great World, the Xinwu Great World, and the Xuanhuan Great World each had 1,000 worlds. They formed the 3,000 worlds group called the Chaos Domain. Yuan Dao, Lord of Heaven, didn't know how many there were, but he was sure that there were many of them. Yuan Dao Heaven was guarding the passageway to the chaos domain from another domain. Look at Chapter 1, #enrich network. Others don't know? Night Sorrow asked. No. What's the point of telling them this? It'll only make them upset. Maybe the people from the celestial sect know, because their rank 9 corpse came from somewhere else, Yuan Dao, Lord of Heaven, said. Somewhere else. Night Sorrow was shocked. This world was much more complicated than he thought. It's hard to say. I'll tell you slowly. Yuan Dao, Lord of Heaven, exhaled. Yuan Dao Heaven wasn't created by Yuan Dao, Lord of Heaven, but Yuan Qing, Lord of Heaven. Yuan Qing Heaven Lord had obtained the inheritance of a level 9 cultivator. However, Yuan Qing Heaven Lord had fallen. Normally, King of Heaven was in the undying realm and had an endless lifespan. A Lord of Heaven wouldn't die so easily. Yuan Qing Lord of Heaven died in a battle with the demons. He killed his opponent, but his original body was severely injured. His doppelganger also suffered irrecoverable injuries. Later, when he was suppressing the demon's passageway, the demon's aura entered his body and he died. Yuan Qing Lord of Heaven could have survived as long as he left the demon's passageway. He didn't want the reincarnation great world to be attacked by the demons, so he persisted until Yuan Dao Lord of Heaven entered the Heavenly Lord realm. The inheritance that Master received came from the Celestial Realm's Yuan Dao Celestial Sect. This is also the origin of our Yuan Dao Celestial Sect's name, said Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord. What kind of place is the Celestial Realm? I've read a lot of ancient books, but there's no record of it, Night Sorrow said in surprise. Other than you, I have never mentioned it to anyone else. Therefore, no one knows that the Celestial Realm is the core of all the realms. It surpasses all the realms. The greater realms are nothing in front of the Celestial Realm. In fact, many people do not know or are ignorant. They have confused some concepts. Let me explain it to you. Yuan Dao Sky Lord nodded to Night Sorrow. Many people referred to the world of reincarnation, Xianhuang, and Shenwu as sovereign worlds or greater worlds. But in fact, it is correct to call it the Great World, but not the Supreme World. Also, for cultivators above the 8th step but not the 9th step, it is correct to call them Heavenly Lord, but not Tycoon. Vision determines everything. Heavenly Lords are nothing in front of a 9th step Imperial Realm cultivator. They will be easily killed. Calling them Tycoons is a joke. Of course, there is no need for us to correct them, said Yuan Dao Sky Lord. Yes, there is no need. Let others call them whatever they want. Lord Heavenly Lord. Does the Celestial Realm have anything to do with us? Night Sorrow asked. Yes, the Celestial Realm's inheritance is a hidden danger. Everyone avoids it. Also, if you want to enter the 9th step, it will be easier in the Celestial Realm. Of course, this is what I read in the ancient books. Who knows the specifics? I actually want to go and take a look, but the Devil's Channel must be suppressed. This is the responsibility of the Yuan Dao Celestial Disciples, said Yuan Dao Sky Lord. Thank you, Senior. Night Sorrow stood up and bowed to Yuan Dao Sky Lord. It's nothing. I still gained something. Look. Yuan Dao Sky Lord released his aura. Body of merit. Yuan Dao Sky Lord was also a body of merit. Because he was suppressing the Devil's Channel, he was also a great benefactor to the reincarnation world. There are many things that I haven't said to anyone else. That's because I don't trust you. If someone with evil intentions comes to attack the Yuan Dao Heaven, and the Yuan Dao Heaven is destroyed, the reincarnation great world will suffer a calamity. However, your merit is even greater than mine. That's why I trust you. Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord said. I understand. Night Sorrow nodded. You are very strong now. If I can't handle it, there will be a successor. I believe you are willing to help the reincarnation world, said Yuan Dao Sky Lord with a smile. Of course. Later, Senior, bring Night Sorrow to the Devil's Channel, said Night Sorrow. Sure, but there is no rush. You are the first VIP of the Yuan Dao Celestial after so many years. We must treat you well. Yuan Dao Sky Lord was in high spirits. Night Sorrow nodded. It was hard to refuse Yuan Dao Sky Lord's hospitality, so he could only accept. Yuan Dao Sky Lord held a welcoming banquet for Night Sorrow, and called all the important people of the Yuandao Celestial over. Before the banquet began, Yuandao Sky Lord stood up. Today I have something to announce. This is Night Sorrow, my friend. In the future, his orders in the Yuandao Celestial will be the same as mine. Sky Lord, how can I accept this? Night Sorrow was a little anxious. Don't be so agitated. You must come to the Yuandao Celestial as a guest. Today's misunderstanding cannot happen again, so it is necessary to get to know you. Yuandao Sky Lord smiled. After the banquet, Yuandao Sky Lord arranged a courtyard for Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow brewed a pot of tea and pondered. Today's events had greatly affected him. As his level increased, he learned more. Night Sorrow also understood that Yuandao Sky Lord was someone who had truly contributed to the reincarnation world. He also understood why the Celestial sect was so domineering. It was because they were a power that had been passed down from the Celestial realm. They naturally had many trump cards. Night Sorrow definitely wanted to uproot the Celestial sect. It was just that the time wasn't right, so he had to wait. It wasn't that Night Sorrow couldn't tolerate them. It was just that the Celestial sect had developed a self-centered temperament. Everyone had to give them face. Furthermore, Night Sorrow wouldn't let go of the matter of him injuring the Qing Emperor. Night Sorrow had his own considerations when it came to grudges. He could tolerate some things, but there were also some things he couldn't tolerate. After resting for a while, Yuandao Sky Lord brought Night Sorrow along and began flying. These fiends are a little different from the ones in the Dark Abyss. They are more tyrannical, so they aren't easy to deal with. Fortunately, Master set up a ceiling formation so we can still block them. My true body has been guarding the formation this entire time. What level of fiends are they? Asked Night Sorrow. Chapter 1440. As they flew, Night Sorrow and Yuandao Heavenly Lord arrived at the center of Yuandao Heavenly Island. There were countless iron pillars on all sides, and between the iron pillars were black chains. The chains emitted light, and as the light flickered, it emitted a shocking aura. This is the primordial octagonal demon lock array. It prevents the aura of the Devil's Tunnel from leaking out, and it can also gather the suppressive force of the reincarnation great world. It is the last barrier of the Devil's Tunnel. Let's go in. Yuandao Heavenly Lord waved his arm and released energy to shake the chains, opening a tunnel. Night Sorrow and Yuandao Heavenly Lord entered the tunnel. There is a teleportation array here that can instantly reach the place. This time you can experience it. We will not take the teleportation array. Night Sorrow can fly over and take a look. Yuandao Heavenly Lord pointed at the teleportation array beside the tunnel. Following that, he led Night Sorrow and flew diagonally underground. Half an hour later, Night Sorrow and Yuandao Heavenly Lord arrived at an underground hall. The hall was huge, with a diameter of about 3 to 4 miles. The hall was filled with dense energy beams, and Yuandao Heavenly Lord sat in the middle. That is my true body. Because guarding this place can condense my quintessential chi. My true body is here, and my avatar is handling the matters outside. Yuandao Heavenly Lord said. At that moment, Night Sorrow was looking at the defensive barrier opposite him, and Yuandao Heavenly Lord on the way in. Inside the defensive barrier, there was an ink-black energy tumbling, and there were human figures. Night Sorrow felt that the human figures contained very strong energy, and one of them was at the Heavenly Lord level. Don't worry. The array formation here is quite strong. The stronger the opponent's charge, the stronger the array formation's suppression will be. Yuandao Heavenly Lord said. But it will only treat the symptoms and not the root cause. We can't passively defend like this. Something will definitely go wrong if we keep defending. Night Sorrow was a little worried. Your thoughts are the same as mine, but there is nothing we can do now. We don't have the strength to fight back, so we can only keep reinforcing the array formation. Yuandao Heavenly Lord said. I understand. This is everyone's business. We'll discuss it later, Night Sorrow said. I've kept this matter in my heart for many years and didn't dare to tell anyone. I was afraid that there would be people with bad intentions who wanted to destroy this place. That would be a huge problem. Just like Ling Tian, he's a crazy person. Yuandao Heavenly Lord said. He was talking to Yishang as a friend. He was addressing him as I. That is indeed the case. Night Sorrow nodded his head. He could understand the pressure that Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord felt. I have my own selfish motives for pulling you into this whirlpool. However, it is also for the sake of the entire reincarnation world. Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord said apologetically. Haha, Lord of Heaven, you think too much. I want some peace and quiet, but I'm not someone who can't see the big picture, Night Sorrow said. It's my fault for disturbing your peace. I'll treat you to a drink later. Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord said. What's up with that tunnel? Night Sorrow asked as he pointed to a door that was sealed with origin stone chains at the side of the hall. That's the place where Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord's ancestors came from. However, no one has ever entered. Let alone entering. There are only 3 people in the world who have entered. Me, you, and Yufeng. I see the 2 of them as my future successors. Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord said. I understand. I'll have to go and take a look in the future, Night Sorrow said. You still have room for improvement. When you feel that you have reached a limit, you can send a clone in to try. I won't stop you. If you want to change, you have to have a plan. Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord said. All right. Night Sorrow nodded his head. Then, Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord introduced Night Sorrow to the operation of the array in the hall. In other words, Night Sorrow could control everything here. After the introduction, Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord brought Night Sorrow back to his side yard. I feel much more relaxed now that I've pulled you into the pit. Even if I can't handle it, you're still here, Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord said with a smile. The millions of living beings in the reincarnation great world should thank you, Lord Heavenly Lord, Night Sorrow said. Haha, that's nothing. As a member of Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord, we have to adhere to the teachings of our ancestors. Also, don't worry. I'm here. You don't have to worry about anything here, Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord said. Night Sorrow nodded his head. He could understand what Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord was thinking. He was leaving a backup plan for Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord and the reincarnation great world. Night Sorrow stayed in Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord for half a month. Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord brought Night Sorrow around, and all the members of Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord got to know Night Sorrow. When Night Sorrow was about to leave, Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord did not ask him to stay. After all, Night Sorrow had his own things to do. Then, Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord and Yufeng sent him off. Night Sorrow took the teleportation array and left. After flying across the endless ocean, Night Sorrow returned to the reincarnation great world. Then, he took the teleportation array and returned to the city in the sky. Seeing Night Sorrow return, his son and daughter ran to Night Sorrow's side. Did it go well? Datira, who was following the children, asked. Yes, but I know something. I'll tell you later, Night Sorrow said. Yes. The situation in the Xuanhuan Great World is not looking good. The entire world is fighting. The main reason is that the devil army is too strong, Datira said. Troubled times. Yishan spat out these words. Datira looked at Night Sorrow and smiled. During your growth, you never settled down. However, because of the constant challenges, you grew faster. Actually, it's strange. So many years have passed, but so many things have not happened, Datira said. Then, after returning to the mansion, Night Sorrow casually chatted with his family. After being asked by Datira, Night Sorrow thought for a while, and felt that it was nothing. Then, he told them everything he had seen and heard in Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord. The Primal Chaos Realm. Our 3 great worlds form the Primal Chaos Realm. There are 3,000 realms like this? Datira looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. Yes, the Celestial Realm. According to Lord of Heaven Yuanqing, the Celestial Realm is the core of all the world groups. Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord's inheritance is external. The inheritance of Celestial Sect is also external. So, there are many unknown things. Night Sorrow nodded. Datira was also thinking. Because things had gone beyond her prediction. There were many things she did not know. Don't think too much, Night Sorrow said. What do you think about the Xuanhuan Great World? Night Sorrow asked Datira. Cool first. 2-inch no matter what, it should happen. Let nature take its course. Besides, my path to becoming a merit great sage is also in the Xuanhuan Great World. Last time, I took the heavenly Tao flower in the heaven and earth pavilion. This is karma, Night Sorrow said. Chapter 1441. Just as the host was looking at the bald middle-aged man expectantly, hoping that he would raise the price to 550 million, the bald middle-aged man suddenly raised his hand and said something that stunned the host. New address. I give up. As soon as he said that, the whole audience went into an uproar. No one knew why he gave up. If he just wanted to set the price, he obviously didn't have to say that. That would definitely bring him revenge. Lin Feng was slightly stunned. Could it be that he had encountered the same kind of high price as before? Give up. Although the host was a little disappointed, he still said in a professional manner, it's every auction owner's right to give up. Now 510 million going once, 510 million going twice. The host paused deliberately, but still, no one raised the price, so he had to make the final decision. 510 million sold. The final winner is Mr. Lin, the chairman of our Jianfeng real estate company. Congratulations to him. The audience applauded warmly. Although this auction item wasn't the most expensive one in the whole auction, Lin Feng deserved to be respected as the finale item. The reason was very simple. This was the rule of the auction. The winner of the finale item deserved to be applauded like this. Congratulations, Chairman Lin. But I didn't see you interested in bronze before. Bamboo Pole didn't say anything, but Secretary Li was a little curious. During this period he had been with Lin Feng almost every day, so he knew that Lin Feng liked antiques. However, the antiques that Lin Feng had submitted before were all small ones, and he had never touched a bronze item. Lin Feng smiled. I'm just curious. I've never touched a bronze item before. If this sword is real, then it's worth this price. I even got a big bargain. Let's go sign the contract after the auction. We still haven't received 4 billion yet, haha. Because all the transactions were done backstage, Lin Feng went backstage after the auction. The person in charge of this auction was a manager of the Tianqi Auction Company. When Lin Feng signed the contract, he told him that he wanted to meet the boss of the Tianqi Auction Company to discuss cooperation. Lin Feng thought that the manager would agree. After all, if such a small auction company could cooperate with a big company, it would be a great help to their project. However, Lin Feng didn't expect that the manager would politely reject him. Lin Feng didn't insist. However, when he heard Mo Tianxing say that the boss of the Tianqi Auction Company was comparable to him, he couldn't help but feel a little uncomfortable. After all, he had cheated by using the hand of seizing. Naturally, he was much better than others. However, if there was someone who was comparable to him, what was the use of the hand of seizing? This reminded Lin Feng of Shui Qinghan at the treasure appraisal competition. She was the only person he admired. Unfortunately, Shui Qinghan wasn't an ordinary person. If he could find Shui Qinghan, Lin Feng believed that he could persuade Shui Qinghan to tell him about people like him. Chairman Lin, our boss is a little eccentric. Ever since he opened the studio, he rarely shows his face in public. I'm almost always in charge of business cooperation and negotiations. So, if there's anything that's not satisfactory, please forgive us, Chairman Lin. After the manager stamped the Tianqi Auction Company's seal on the contract, he handed the bronze sword to Lin Feng. As for this bronze sword, our boss said that no matter how much it costs, only the fated person can get it. It seems that Chairman Lin is the fated person. Congratulations, Chairman Lin. Of course, Lin Feng didn't take this to heart. This was a skill of being a businessman, especially in the antique business. The cost of an antique was just a little bit, so it wouldn't attract many people. But why could it be sold at such a high price? Wasn't it because of interest? Was it because of faith? Because of history? Therefore, in Lin Feng's eyes, this nonsense about the fated person was just a marketing tactic. If the manager didn't tell him this, how could he feel good about spending so much money to buy a sword? However, in the antique industry, one couldn't complain about the high price. After all, this kind of thing had always been a matter of willingness. After getting the bronze sword wrapped in wooden packaging, Lin Feng walked out of the backstage. At this time, Boss Liu had also signed the contract. He walked over with a smile and said apologetically, Chairman Lin, I'm sorry. I received a call from Chairman Mo at the last minute. She asked me to buy this piece of land, saying that you need it. Because the auction has already started, I didn't have time to inform you, so I bought it directly. Let's find a place to transfer the contract. Lin Feng nodded. It seemed that Mo Xiaoyan was really good at messing with him. However, he had to admit that although Mo Xiaoyan had been staying at home all this time, she had helped him a lot at home. For example, this time, if Mo Xiaoyan hadn't helped him buy this piece of land, it would have taken a long time to find a suitable green ecological land, which would have delayed his project. The longer a project was delayed, the company's profits would be lost. After signing the contract with Boss Liu and transferring the ownership of the first green ecological building land, Lin Feng went to find Boss Wu, the owner of the second green ecological building land. According to the agreement between him and Boss Wu, Lin Feng would get 4 billion from the 8 billion price. When Boss Wu saw Lin Feng coming over, the smile on his face disappeared. Anyone would feel the same way. After all, he had to give away 4 billion for 8 billion. If it was Lin Feng, and it was irreversible, Lin Feng wouldn't be happy either. However, Boss Wu was a smart man. He knew that if he broke the contract, Lin Feng would be able to make the Qin family bankrupt. If he handed over 4 billion now, he might be able to get some good things in the future. Thinking of this, Boss Wu straightforwardly said, "Boss Lin, hee, I just completed the transaction with their staff. There are 6 billion in this card, and the other 2 billion is just a small gift from me. If there is such a thing in the future, I hope Boss Lin can help me more." Lin Feng looked at Boss Wang in surprise. He didn't know what prompted Boss Wang to do such a thing. Originally, they had agreed to split the money in half, which was 4 billion. This guy was quite self-aware and gave half of his 4 billion to Lin Feng. 2 billion was not a small amount for anyone, especially for a stingy person like Boss Wang. He was actually willing to give 2 billion to Lin Feng. However, Lin Feng didn't feel embarrassed about such a gift. He accepted it as a matter of course. Secretary Li and Bamboo Pole were very surprised that Lin Feng could increase the profit of this event by so much. For a businessman, earning 8 billion before the project started was simply a legend. When Lin Feng returned to Yiqing Resort that night, Mo Xiaoyan gave him a hug as soon as he entered the door. "Someone earned a lot today. Is there a bonus?" "Humph, I don't know how long it will take for me to pay back all my shares." Lin Feng carried Mo Xiaoyan to the rocking chair outside. "How was your stock market profit today? I heard that some of the directors in the company were frowning recently. After asking them the reason, I found out that they had lost money. They said that the stock market has been turbulent recently. That's because they are stupid." Mo Xiaoyan rolled her eyes. Although it is easy to make money in the stock market, you will always be trapped. Many people can't avoid being trapped, so they often lose everything in the stock market. Have you ever seen them frowning? Have you forgotten that when the stock market was turbulent and you suffered losses? Lin Feng pinched Mo Xiaoyan's little nose. He still remembered that when he had just moved in, Mo Xiaoyan had argued with him for a few days because of a turbulent story. At that time, Lin Feng had no idea why Mo Xiaoyan had argued with him. Mo Tianqing had told him later that if the stock market was turbulent, he shouldn't provoke Mo Xiaoyan. Otherwise, the consequences would be severe. However, Lin Feng saw that Mo Xiaoyan's face was beginning to twitch. This was a sign that Mo Xiaoyan was about to get angry. Lin Feng, who had already known Mo Xiaoyan's temper, quickly said, Hey baby, don't get agitated. What do you want to eat tonight? No matter what you want to eat, I will make it for you." "I want to eat you," Mo Xiaoyan said fiercely. Lin Feng smiled evilly and carried Mo Xiaoyan to the bedroom. "Hey, you want to eat me? If you want to eat me, you should have said so earlier. I will let you eat me now, okay? Bastard, put me down, you bad guy." Mo Xiaoyan exclaimed. "You bad guy, I am on my period today. You can't do this." "It's okay. It's okay to run a red light once in a while." Lin Feng smiled evilly and threw Mo Xiaoyan on the soft bed. "Hey, before dinner, you are the appetizer." The next day, Lin Feng came to the company with a smile. The project manager of the Green Ecological Project team was already waiting for Lin Feng in the conference room. Lin Feng gave them the blueprint and information of the first green ecological land that he had traded with Mr. Liu the day before. He asked them to start the construction as soon as possible. Chapter 1443. Just as the host was looking at the bald middle-aged man expectantly, hoping that he would raise the price to 550 million, the bald middle-aged man suddenly raised his hand and said something that stunned the host. "Xmb, I give up." As soon as he said that, the whole audience went into an uproar. No one knew why he gave up. If he just wanted to set the price, he obviously didn't have to say that. That would definitely bring him revenge. Lin Feng was slightly stunned. Could it be that he had encountered the same kind of high price as before? Give up. Although the host was disappointed, he still said in the spirit of professionalism, "It's every auction owner's right to give up. Now 510 million going once, 510 million going twice." The host deliberately paused for a moment, but still, no one raised the price, so he could only make the final decision. 510 million sold. The final winner is Mr. Lin, Chairman Lin of Jianfeng Real Estate Company. Congratulations to him. The audience applauded warmly. Although this auction item wasn't the most expensive one in the whole auction, Lin Feng deserved to be respected as the finale item. The reason was very simple. It was the rule of the auction. The winner of the finale item deserved to be applauded like this. "Congratulations, Chairman Lin. But I didn't see you interested in bronze before." Bamboo Pole didn't say anything, but Secretary Li was a little curious. During this period, he stayed by Lin Feng's side almost every day, so he knew that Lin Feng liked antiques. However, the antiques that Lin Feng had submitted before were all small ones, and he had never touched a bronze one before. Lin Feng smiled. "I'm just curious. I've never touched a bronze item before. If this sword is real, then it's worth this price. I even got a big bargain. Let's go. After the auction is over, we'll sign the contract. We still have 4 billion left, haha." Because all the transactions were done backstage, Lin Feng went backstage after the auction was over. The person in charge of this auction was a manager of the Tianqi Auction Company. When Lin Feng signed the contract, he told him that he wanted to meet the boss of the Tianqi Auction Company to discuss cooperation. Lin Feng thought that the manager would agree. After all, if a small auction company could cooperate with a big company, it would be a great help to their project. However, Lin Feng didn't expect that the manager would politely reject him. Lin Feng didn't insist, but when he heard Mo Tianxing say that the boss of the Tianqi Auction Company was comparable to him, he couldn't help but feel a little uncomfortable. After all, he had cheated by using the hand of seizing. Naturally, he was much better than others. However, if there was someone comparable to him, what was the use of the hand of seizing? This reminded Lin Feng of Shui Qinghan at the treasure appraisal competition. She was the only person he admired. Unfortunately, Shui Qinghan wasn't an ordinary person. If he could find Shui Qinghan, Lin Feng believed that he could persuade her to tell him about people like him. "Chairman Lin, our boss is a little eccentric. Ever since he opened the studio, he rarely shows his face in public. I'm almost always in charge of business cooperation and negotiations. So if there's anything that's not satisfactory, please forgive us, Chairman Lin." After the manager of the Tianqi Auction Company stamped the contract, he handed the bronze sword to Lin Feng. "And this bronze sword, our boss said that no matter how much it costs, only the fated person can get it. It seems that Chairman Lin is the fated person. Congratulations, Chairman Lin." Of course, Lin Feng didn't take this to heart. This was a skill of being a businessman, especially in the antique business. The cost of an antique was just a little bit, so it wouldn't attract many people. But why could it be sold at such a high price? Wasn't it because of interest? Was it because of faith? Because of history? Therefore, in Lin Feng's eyes, this nonsense about the fated person was just a marketing tactic. If the manager didn't tell him this, how could he feel good after spending so much money to buy a sword? However, in the antique industry, one couldn't complain about the high price. After all, this kind of thing had always been a matter of willingness. After getting the bronze sword wrapped in wooden packaging, Lin Feng walked out of the backstage. At this time, Boss Liu had also signed the contract. He came over with a smile and said apologetically, "Chairman Lin, I'm sorry. I received a call from Chairman Mo at the last minute. She asked me to buy this land, saying that you need it. Because the auction has already started, I didn't have time to inform you, so I bought it directly. Let's find a place to transfer the contract." Lin Feng nodded. It seemed that Mo Xiaoyan was really good at messing with him. However, he had to admit that although Mo Xiaoyan had been staying at home all this time, she had helped him a lot at home. For example, this time, if Mo Xiaoyan hadn't helped him buy this land, it would have taken a long time to find a suitable green ecological land, which would have delayed his project. The longer a project was delayed, the company's profits would be lost. After signing the contract with Boss Lu and transferring the ownership of the first green ecological building land, Lin Feng went to find Boss Wu, the owner of the second green ecological building land. According to the agreement between him and Boss Wu, Lin Feng would get 4 billion from the 8 billion price. When Boss Wu saw Lin Feng coming over, the smile on his face disappeared. Anyone would feel the same way. After all, he had to give away 4 billion for 8 billion. If it was Lin Feng, and it was irreversible, Lin Feng wouldn't be happy either. However, Boss Wu was a smart man. He knew that if he broke the contract, Lin Feng would be able to make the Qin family bankrupt. If he handed over 4 billion now, he might be able to get some good things in the future. Thinking of this, Boss Wu straightforwardly said, "Boss Lin, hee, I just completed the transaction with their staff. There are 6 billion in this card, and the other 2 billion is just a small gift from me. If there is such a thing in the future, I hope Boss Lin can help me more." Lin Feng looked at Boss Wang in surprise. He didn't know what prompted Boss Wang to do such a thing. Originally, they had agreed to split the money in half, which was 4 billion. This guy was quite self-aware and gave half of his 4 billion to Lin Feng. 2 billion was not a small amount for anyone, especially for a stingy person like Boss Wang. He was actually willing to give 2 billion to Lin Feng. However, Lin Feng wasn't shy about such a gift. He accepted it as a matter of course. Secretary Li and Bamboo Pole were very surprised that Lin Feng could increase the profit of this event by so much. For a businessman, earning 8 billion before the project started was simply a legend. When Lin Feng returned to Yiqing Resort that night, Mo Xiaoyan gave him a hug as soon as he entered the door. "Someone earned a lot today. Is there a bonus?" "Humph, I don't know how long it will take for me to pay back all the shares." Lin Feng carried Mo Xiaoyan to the rocking chair outside. "How was your stock market profit today? I heard that some of the directors in the company were frowning recently. After asking them the reason, I found out that they had lost money. They said that the stock market has been turbulent recently. That's because they are stupid." Mo Xiaoyan rolled her eyes. Although it is easy to make money in the stock market, you will always be trapped. Many people can't avoid being trapped, so they often lose everything in the stock market. Have you ever seen them frowning? Have you forgotten that when the stock market was turbulent and you suffered losses? Lin Feng pinched Mo Xiaoyan's little nose. He still remembered that when he had just moved in, Mo Xiaoyan had argued with him for a few days because of a turbulent story. At that time, Lin Feng had no idea why Mo Xiaoyan had argued with him. Mo Tianxing had told him later that if the stock market was turbulent, he shouldn't provoke Mo Xiaoyan. Otherwise, the consequences would be severe. However, as soon as he said that, Lin Feng saw Mo Xiaoyan's face begin to twitch. This was a sign that Mo Xiaoyan was about to get angry. Lin Feng, who had already known Mo Xiaoyan's temper, quickly said, Hey baby, don't get agitated. What do you want to eat tonight? No matter what you want to eat, I will make it for you." "I want to eat you," Mo Xiaoyan said fiercely. Lin Feng smiled evilly and carried Mo Xiaoyan to the bedroom. "Hey, you want to eat me? If you want to eat me, you should have said so earlier. I will let you eat me now, okay? Bastard, put me down, you bad guy," Mo Xiaoyan exclaimed. "You bad guy, I am on my period today. You can't do this." "It's okay. It's okay to run a red light once in a while." Lin Feng smiled evilly and threw Mo Xiaoyan on the soft bed. "Hey, before dinner, you are the appetizer." The next day, Lin Feng came to the company with a smile. The project manager of the Green Ecology Project team was already waiting for Lin Feng in the conference room. Lin Feng gave them the blueprint and information of the first green ecological land that he had traded with Mr. Liu the day before. He asked them to start the construction as soon as possible. Chapter 1445. After Evil Soldier gave the order, the Evil Soldier Legion moved to the front of the battlefield. After breaking into the Black-Yellow Great World, Evil Soldier also wanted to use the fast tactics. He also knew that the longer the time passed, the more prepared the Black-Yellow Great World would be. However, the facts did not allow him to do so. He had to stabilize the rear first. The cultivators of the Cuddlebugs in the Devil Blood realm still had to release the Devil Blood evil bugs. Therefore, the fast tactics could not be used. As soon as the Evil Soldier Legion moved, the Xuanhuan Great World's allied forces quickly met the enemy. The Lords of Heaven's camp also moved. Night Sorrow stood on the back of Ice Kylan and went to the front of the battlefield. At the moment, the Evil Soldier Legion also came to the edge of the dark energy and confronted the allied forces. The Evil Soldier Legion was very strong, and its structure was different from that of a normal legion. It had 20 troops, which was not much weaker than the allied forces. Moreover, there were many Lords of Heaven, 12 of them. The Evil Soldier Legion was led by a Lord of Heaven, and had 2 guards at the Lord of Heaven realm. In the last confrontation, Evil Soldier did not fight. Half of the Legion moved forward while the other half stabilized the rear. Therefore, although the Xuanhuan Great World's Legion was defeated, it did not suffer a great loss. This time, after the rear was stabilized, Evil Soldier led all his men to fight. With the arrival of Evil Soldier, the Evil Soldier Legion separated. An evil soldier riding a wolf appeared. Our numbers have increased a lot. It's meaningless to have more ants. In a word, do you surrender or not? I'll kill you until you do. If you don't, I'll kill you all. Evil Soldier pointed his saber at the ground and said. Tang Jianfeng stood out and said, Evil can't win over righteousness. There is still righteousness in this vast world. You want to run amok? Not enough. Righteousness also depends on the size of the fist. Are your fists big enough? You can't even defeat the sovereigns under my command. What's the use of fists? Evil Soldier snorted. You're too arrogant. Come out and fight. Lord of Heaven Shen, who was irritated by Evil Soldier's arrogant words. You're just a garbage sky-devouring tiger. Come out and I'll skin you. Evil Soldier waved his saber and said. Before anyone could stop him, Lord of Heaven Shen who flew out and chopped at Evil Soldier with his saber. Evil Soldier shook his body and flew toward Lord of Heaven Shen who, when they were more than 100 feet away, Evil Soldier had a special aura. Everyone could feel an energy wrapped around the great way of heaven to suppress Lord of Heaven Shen who. Then the Evil Soldier rushed up and slashed at him. Being suppressed by this aura, Heaven Lord Shen whose aura dissipated, and his strength dropped by more than 30%. As the two's battle blades clashed, there was a loud explosion. Heaven Lord Shen who was sent flying by Xiebing's blade, and was sent flying far away. Immediately after, Xiebing rushed up and slashed down with his battle blade. Being suppressed by Xiebing's heavenly Tao, Heaven Lord Shen who was in a bad state. His own strength was greatly suppressed. He was already weaker than Xiebing to begin with, and now he was even weaker. There was no way he could fight back, not even a little bit. This won't do. The Sea Monarch's expression was solemn because everyone could see that Lord Shen who was not capable of this. The situation was very serious. Lord of Heaven God, who had an illustrious reputation in the divine martial great world. Although Bai Taiching's mishap had occurred, no one could deny his strength. He was one of the top cultivators among the Lord of Heaven. After pondering for a moment, the Sea King Manor's Lord also made his move. Together with Lord Shen who, they fought against the evil soldiers. However, the result did not change much. As long as Xiebing's aura was suppressed, he could easily send Heaven Lord Shen who and the Sea King Manor's Lord flying with a casual blow. I'll go and help. You guys start fighting. We Heaven Lords have the upper hand. If we can kill, we'll kill. Tang Jianfeng shouted and joined the battle. The three of them worked together to fight against Xiebing. You guys are not convinced today. No matter how many come, I'll kill them all. Xiebing's attack became more violent. Unable to resist, Heaven Lord Shen Hu and the Sea King Manor's Lord sent out their doppelgangers to restrain Xiebing's attack. When Tang Jianfeng shouted for everyone to start fighting, the group battle began. The evil soldier army had 12 Heaven Lords, but the allied forces were not weak either. Originally, the Black-Yellow Great World had more than 10 Heaven Lords. Now that the Shenwu Great World and the Black-Yellow Great World had come to help, they had the advantage in terms of numbers. Tang Jianfeng did not ask Night Sorrow to join the battle. Therefore, Night Sorrow could not fight against Xiebing directly. Now that the battle had begun, Night Sorrow charged toward a Heaven Lord. It was a fierce battle. Datura and Sandalwood both attacked a Heaven Lord. Sandalwood and Datura were the top experts among the Heaven Lords in the Black-Yellow Great World. Only Heaven Lord Yuan Dao and Qing Emperor could compete with them. The Mandela surrounded a Heaven Monarch while the Sandalwood attacked violently, clashing fiercely with the opponent. Sandalwood had never cultivated a doppelganger before. She wanted her original body to achieve something. After entering the Heaven Lord realm, Night Sorrow and the others persuaded her to cultivate a doppelganger. However, it would take a long time for her to succeed. It was a fierce battle. People were dying all the time. After all, the Allied forces' legions were not as good as the 9 Heaven Legions in teamwork and defense. The Heaven Lords fighting Night Sorrow were attacking fiercely. However, they were useless against Night Sorrow. All the members of the Evil Soldier Legion had strong bodies and were good at close combat. Night Sorrow was also good at close combat. The battle was fierce. After a while, Night Sorrow's doppelganger left his original body and performed a unique skill with him. Night Sorrow's original body performed the Great Emperor Samsara Slash while his doppelganger performed the Great Death Slash. Together, they charged toward the armored opponent. As the Great Death Slash's colored and purple halos shrouded the armored opponent, Night Sorrow's body froze. He fell into a daze. Obviously, he was not good at soul defense. The moment the opponent fell into a daze, Night Sorrow's Samsara and Space Splitter attacked the opponent's body at the same time. The energy in the two swords exploded instantly. The special energy in the Samsara even attacked the armored man's spiritual sea. Night Sorrow's original body rushed forward. His right hand kept shaking the Samsara. The void energy exploded in the opponent's body, making him lose the ability to resist. While the original body controlled and continued to damage the opponent, Night Sorrow's doppelganger pulled out the Space Splitter and performed the Void Extreme Kill. It pierced through the back of the armored man's head. Penetrated through. Even though the armored man's cultivation was high and his body was strong, he could not block Night Sorrow's Void Extreme Kill. After being penetrated by Night Sorrow's doppelganger's Space Splitter, his spiritual sea and infant soul were also shattered. There was no chance of survival. N3G Network Premier Night Sorrow was worried that the opponent's body was strong and had reached the Undying Realm. After killing him, he swung his arm and put the corpse into his storage ring. A Heaven Lord had fallen. The first Heaven Lord had fallen since the start of this realm war. Since you've come to our server, I'll kill all of you first. Yi Shang charged towards another heavenly monarch. Chapter 1446. Some of the Heaven Lords of the Black-Yellow Great World's allied army knew how to use soul attacks. However, their bodies were not strong enough, so they would be pushed back as soon as they exchanged blows. Even if they used soul attacks, the distance was not enough. After using soul attacks, they would rush forward again, and the enemy would realize it. Thus, they would not be able to kill or even seriously injure the enemy. But now, this rule was broken by Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's body was strong, and he used 2 unique skills at the same time. Therefore, he killed the enemy. It's you, not a Heaven Lord. You defeated a Heaven Lord. Xiebing knew who Night Sorrow was. Before the battle, he did not notice Night Sorrow, mainly because Night Sorrow did not release his fighting intent. Now that Night Sorrow killed one of his generals, he understood. Stop him and let Night Sorrow increase his victory. Tang Jianfeng shouted. At this time, his doppelganger was severely injured, but it was still worth it to kill a Heaven Lord from the evil soldier army. At this time, Night Sorrow took down a relatively weak Heaven Lord from the Black-Yellow Great World, and then he attacked violently. His willpower, laws and body were not inferior. In fact, they were even stronger. These advantages were enough to make up for Night Sorrow's lack of energy. Night Sorrow was suppressing this heaven monarch from the evil soldier legion. The only YB. The other 9 are GT is a pirated version. In just a moment, this heaven lord was killed by Night Sorrow's original body and doppelganger using their unique skills at the same time. After the death of 2 heaven lords, Xiebing became anxious. He was besieged by Tang Jianfeng, heaven lord Shinhu, and the Sea King Mansion's master. Although he could injure his opponents, he could not kill them. However, if this went on, his heaven lords would not be able to hold on. Retreat into the devil blood chi, Xiebing shouted. He could not afford to lose a heaven lord general. The army of evil soldiers retreated, and Tang Jianfeng also gave the order to stop the pursuit. After entering the devil blood chi, the combat power of the cultivators of the Xianhuang Ocean World's allied army would decrease, and they would be easily killed. Just as Tang Jianfeng shouted, the evil weapon suddenly erupted. Its imposing aura rushed towards the avatar of the Sea King Prefecture. Then, its body flickered and the saber in its hand slashed continuously, blocking Tang Jianfeng and Lord of Heaven God Hu. The saber went straight for the neck of the avatar. As the saber light vibrated, the head of the avatar was shattered. Fall from grace. After killing the avatar of the Sea King Prefecture's master, Xiebing's body flickered and left the battle. At this time, everyone in the evil soldier legion, including the Lord of Heaven, had retreated. If he did not retreat, he would be besieged. After the evil soldiers retreated, Datira came to Night Sorrow's side. Are you okay? It's all right. The result is still acceptable. I killed 2 heaven monarchs, Night Sorrow said. He was quite conflicted. If the avatar of the Sea King Prefecture's master had not been killed, then today's victory would have been theirs. Now, it could only be said that they had gained a slight advantage. After the army of evil soldiers retreated, the allied army of the Xianhuang Great World naturally returned to their original positions to defend. Night Sorrow and the others also returned to the command tent. Seeing Night Sorrow's arrival, all the heaven monarchs cupped their hands to greet Night Sorrow. This is not a good situation. We can't resist that guy. His combat power is too strong. The energy contained in his body surpasses ours. Coupled with the special heavenly Tao's imposing aura, we are no match for him at all. Lord of Heaven God Hu said. Valley Lord Hai, this time it's my fault for not commanding properly. I caused you to lose one of your avatars. Tang Jianfeng said. He knew that there was a mistake in the allocation of personnel. If Night Sorrow had been assigned to resist the evil soldiers, perhaps things would not have turned out this way. City Lord, you think too much. This time it's our gain to kill 2 heaven monarchs. Not bad. The Sea King Prefecture's master gave Night Sorrow a thumbs up. Night Sorrow, you have seen the situation. The next time this guy appears, you will have to take action. We really can't resist it, Tang Jianfeng said. There was nothing he could do. The 3 of them, including their avatars, did not gain the upper hand in the battle against the evil soldiers. One of the avatars of the Sea King Prefecture's master was even killed. Okay, everything will be arranged by the city lord. Night Sorrow nodded. He originally wanted to fight the evil soldiers today, but Tang Jianfeng did not make any arrangements. After that, Night Sorrow, Datira, and Sandalwood returned to Night Sorrow's tent. This group of guys is really strong. It's hard to deal with them, Sandalwood said. She had the upper hand in the battle, but she could not kill them. These demons are completely different from the demons of the Dark Abyss. The demons of the Dark Abyss are not as evil as them, and their bodies are not as tough, Datira said. If we can hold on, it will be a war of attrition. We have to be prepared for that, Night Sorrow said. As he said this, Night Sorrow probed his divine sea to check on Shao Kong's situation. Without the space-time pagoda, he could not speed up. Some things that required time could only be put aside for Night Sorrow. For example, refining the soul cultivation liquid took a long time. After probing, Night Sorrow found that the space-time pagoda, which was the Haotian godly pagoda, was still self-repairing. The energy light at the connection between the space-time pagoda and the immortal pavilion of creation was getting weaker and weaker. When it completely disappeared, the repair was complete. After Night Sorrow killed the 2 lords of heaven, he also gained merit from the black-yellow great world. However, he was still a bit away from becoming a merit supreme saint. Night Sorrow, it's not easy to kill a Lord of Heaven opponent. Today you completed a double kill. Now everyone in our 3 great worlds knows about it, Datura said. What she wanted most was to see her husband become famous. Yishang smiled. He was very happy in his heart as well. To be able to kill a heaven monarch as a martial monarch with the cultivation of a martial monarch was an achievement that no one had ever achieved before. At this moment, Night Sorrow was happy. However, Evil Soldier was furious. This was because he had lost 2 lords of heaven in this battle. He only had 12 lords of heaven under his command. Lord, what's the situation with that guy? Isn't he just a monarch? Shattered Moon, who was wearing armor, asked. He is a monarch who has cultivated the battle intent. Most importantly, he is a supreme attribute cultivator. Therefore, you have no chance of winning against him, Evil Soldier said. Shattered Moon nodded. Evil Soldier's words made sense. He understood after thinking for a while. Besides, he had seen Night Sorrow's strength. Only by killing him can we advance smoothly, Evil Soldier said. Then he arranged for someone to count the losses of the army. Night Sorrow also went to the 9 Heavens army to take a look. The 9 Heavens army had suffered some losses, but it was not serious. More than 20 soldiers had died, but they had killed more enemies. The next few days were very peaceful, which surprised Night Sorrow. He wanted to fight now. As long as he killed a few more lords of heaven from the Devil Blood domain, his merit would increase and he would become a merit supreme saint. It was not that Evil Soldier did not want to fight. However, this time, the Evil Soldier army had suffered a great loss. They had to rest before they could continue fighting. Chapter 1447. When the doppelganger was slain and its soul was annihilated, it was a heavy blow to the soul of the main body. Night Sorrow gave the Sea King Prefecture's governor a spirit-replenishing pill that could heal the soul to the greatest extent. The Sea King Prefecture's governor expressed his gratitude for Night Sorrow's gift of the pill. Yishang, this isn't the first time I've owed you a favor. If there's a chance, I'll return it all. The blonde sea monarch picked up the wine pot in front of him and poured a cup for Yishang. Cool 3 songs / hair, Lord Prefecture's governor is too courteous. Everyone is working hard for the realm war. If you can contribute, we'll do our best, Night Sorrow said. He was originally worried that the Sea King Prefecture's governor would be affected by the death of his doppelganger. Now it seemed that there was no problem. If everyone has the same idea, we won't have to worry about winning the realm war. Perhaps such a realm war will be a good thing for our 3 world groups. We'll be able to get along more harmoniously. The Sea King Prefecture's governor smiled. Night Sorrow nodded. With external pressure, our 3 world groups' cultivation will be more harmonious and motivated. It'll be fine as long as the crisis at hand is resolved. At this time, Tang Jianfeng and Lord Shen, who also came to the Sea King Prefecture's governor. Everyone was casually chatting. The main reason for my doppelganger's death was that I couldn't resist the suppression of the heavenly Tao by the evil demon commander. This is the difference between us heavenly monarch realm cultivators and half-step imperial realm cultivators. The Sea King Prefecture's governor summarized the root cause of his loss. I've heard that in order to enter the 9th rank, one must have an understanding of the force. However, we can't do it. The cultivation techniques we cultivate can only reach the heavenly monarch realm. Energy cultivation is secondary. The advancement of this realm is the most difficult problem, Tang Jianfeng said. Understanding is hard to come by. Do you have any good ideas for the next battle, City Lord Tang? Lord Shen, who looked at Tang Jianfeng. Tang Jianfeng turned to look at Night Sorrow. Next time, Night Sorrow, try to see if you can hold on. If you can, then the rest of us can fight without any worries. If you can't, then we'll continue to use today's strategy. We'll continue to send people to surround and kill the demon commander, while you go kill the other generals, and expand our gains. Sure. Night Sorrow nodded. You don't have to feel pressured. It's fine even if you can't hold on. You have already eliminated 2 heaven monarchs. And your killing speed is much faster than that evil devil commander. We will take turns to besiege the evil devil commander. Even if we have to sacrifice our lives, we will be able to wipe out all their evil devil commanders. Lord of Heaven Shenhu said. His words revealed his violent character. Not everyone had the courage to exchange a life for a life. Haha, that's the plan. The Wuling Mountain Master also came to the tent of the Sea King Prefecture Master. In the next battle, Night Sorrow and I will deal with the demon commander. Killing power is not my strong suit, but I have no problem tanking it. We were too careless this time. We didn't notice that he would be ruthless at the end of the battle, so we didn't have time to help. Sea King, he will pay the price, the Wuling Mountain Master said as he entered the tent. The Sea King Prefecture Master was the Grand Elder of the Xianhuang City, and the Wuling Mountain Master was the Elder of Law Enforcement. The two of them had a close relationship, so the Wuling Mountain Master was very angry when the Sea King Prefecture Master's doppelganger was destroyed. Okay, it's decided. Wuling, you cooperate with Night Sorrow next time and try to block that guy. Shenhu, we will ask the Dark Dominator to kill one of them together. It's better to cut off an arm than to injure 10 fingers, Tang Jianfeng said. After the tactical arrangement was decided, Night Sorrow left after chatting with everyone for a while. He just had to do his own thing. As for whether he could stop the evil soldiers, Night Sorrow didn't know. It mainly depended on whether his golden body of merits could ignore the suppression of the heavenly Tao by the evil devil commander after he activated it. If he could, then it would be no problem. He could hold on and fight. If he couldn't, then he would have to use the second tactic mentioned by Tang Jianfeng. Night Sorrow returned to his tent and talked with Datura and Sandalwood about Tang Jianfeng and the others' tactical ideas. This is the right tactic. It mainly depends on whether you can stop the evil devil commander. If you can, then the situation is very optimistic. If you can't, then you can only risk your life and fight to the death, Datura said. Junior brother, you have to be careful. This is not your battle alone. Just do your best, Sandalwood said. Night Sorrow, my original body will come as well. The situation is not very optimistic. We have to do our best. Datura looked at Night Sorrow and said. Night Sorrow was a bit reluctant. If something happened to the original body, then it would be a big problem. Seeing Night Sorrow's concern, Datura smiled and said, I am the Dark Dominator, not an ordinary weak woman. Besides, if there is a risk, let the doppelganger bear it. Since Datura said so, Night Sorrow could only nod and agree. The situation was still very stable. Evil Soldier also had to think about how to solve the current situation. When he attacked, the Heaven Monarchs of the Black-Yellow Great World would join forces to restrain him. His Heaven Monarchs could not stop Night Sorrow's attacks. Stalemate. The war had entered a stalemate. For both sides the war was difficult. Therefore no one rushed to attack. Datura's original body arrived. The Qing Emperor's doppelganger and Yufei also came to the battlefield. The Red Emperor and Sima Tiancheng also arrived. Tang Jianfeng and the Wuling Mountain Master also expressed their gratitude. At present, one side was facing difficulties from all sides. Tang Jianfeng also told everyone about the current situation and difficulties. The key point was whether Night Sorrow could stop the evil devil commander. Night Sorrow did not participate in the discussion. He just watched the commanders of the Nine Heaven Troop and the Demon Blood Troop cultivate the combined attack formation every day. Datura, Sandalwood, Misty Rain and the other Heaven Monarchs of the world of Samsara also cultivated the combined attack formation. This was proposed by Night Sorrow. The main reason was to increase their survivability. Night Sorrow was worried about the future. At present, the crisis had been revealed. No one knew about the unknown danger. No one knew what kind of strength the enemy would have in the future. People had to be aware of the danger. Everyone supported Night Sorrow's proposal because it was a good thing. The atmosphere of killing pervaded the battlefield. However, everyone was not as stressed as before because the Allied forces were much stronger than before. Feeling that the enemy would not make a move easily, Night Sorrow started to strengthen his body with the White Tiger Essence blood. The soul and the body were the two foundations of a cultivator. Night Sorrow's soul defense was almost unbreakable. The Supreme Origin Bead could protect his soul from any harm. What he pursued now was to continue to strengthen his body. After using Night Sorrow's spirit refilling elixir, the Sea King Prefecture Master had almost recovered. Tang Jianfeng and Lord of Heaven Shinhu's doppelganger had also recovered. Everyone was waiting for the second battle. Chapter 1448. This is fate. Perhaps this is the only way to conform to the rules of the heavenly Tao. Only when there is pressure can there be motivation. Always having a sense of crisis is also the motivation to rise, Qing Emperor said. I envy you. The two of us rose from obscurity. Let's not talk about our own level, but when it comes to taking in disciples, I'm far behind you, Tang Jianfeng said. This is also fate. I almost died some time ago. You know that, Qing Emperor said with a smile. Tang Jianfeng nodded. Fate was the most elusive thing. Tang Jianfeng knew that the Qing Emperor had been injured by the celestial sect and had almost died. But now he had improved his cultivation again. Inside the commander's tent in the Devil Blood Chi, Evil Bing could not wait any longer. The current situation was very unfavorable for him. The reinforcements from the black-yellow great world kept coming. More and more lords of heaven were coming. He knew they were the reinforcements from the other two world groups. Your Honor, we have to act as soon as possible. If this continues, their defense will become tighter and tighter. Shattered Moon was somewhat unable to remain calm. Okay, get ready and continue the battle. Also, send someone back to inform Lai Bingzun to come over as soon as he comes out of seclusion. We will crush them directly. Out of habit, Evil Soldier held his saber in his right hand and thought about it. Magic Dragon, the ruler of the demonic blood weave, had two disciples, Demonic Blade Xie Bing and Sky Blade Lai Bing. Both of them were half-step emperors. Currently, Sky Blade Lai Bing was still in seclusion, so Xie Bing was in charge of conquering the Chaos Realm. Night Sorrow was still cultivating. The blood of the White Tiger was powerful. It kept corroding Night Sorrow's flesh and bones. Even though he was a monarch, Night Sorrow was still in great pain. Night Sorrow had not sweated for many years, but now sweat was dripping down his cheeks. Datira, who was also in the tent, was worried and distressed. She knew very well what Night Sorrow was cultivating. Night Sorrow's situation was different from Qing Emperor's. The Qing Emperor's body had the evil dragon's venomous centipede and White Tiger's blood, so he could counteract the effects of the evil dragon's venomous centipede. Fyong 8 Jiao Fi. I look at C little 3 say I. However, Night Sorrow was different. He relied entirely on his physical body to resist. He absorbed the energy of the White Tiger's blood essence to strengthen his half-energized physical body. Night Sorrow cultivated while Datira accompanied him inside the tent. Sandalwood sat outside the tent with her saber in her arms. At this moment, no one could disturb Night Sorrow. The process was very painful, but Night Sorrow felt that absorbing the White Tiger's blood essence was very beneficial to his body. After cultivating for 4 days, Night Sorrow woke up from his meditative state. How is it? Datira asked Night Sorrow. The effect is very good. My body's strength has increased by quite a bit. I will slowly study it when I have time. I will go take a bath and change my clothes first. Night Sorrow flew out of the tent and found a water source to take a bath before returning to the tent. Let's fight. I want to see how powerful a practitioner, who is half a step away from the Imperial realm, is. Night Sorrow wanted to know the gap between him and the evil demon commander. As Night Sorrow wished, on the 3rd day after Night Sorrow finished his cultivation, Xie Bing led his evil army to fight again. The evil army in the demonic blood chi was very imposing. Similarly, the killing aura between heaven and earth was also very strong. Riding on a demonic wolf, Xie Bing waved the saber in his hand, pointed at the allied army of the black-yellow great world and roared. Didn't you fight a group battle last time? Today, I will play with you again. Get out here. Xie Bing planned to destroy the momentum of the allied army of the black-yellow great world first. He wanted to kill 1 or 2 people quickly. For this plan, he activated his protective armor. He wanted to kill 1 or 2 lords of heaven of the allied army of the black-yellow great world regardless of his defense. He believed in his defensive power. With the armor, he did not need to worry about being hit by 1 or 2 attacks. At this moment, Xie Bing's momentum was very strong, because no one here was a match for him. He had the right to be arrogant. Tang Jianfeng and the others all looked at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow smiled and rode the ice Qilin out of the camp of the allied army of the Black-Yellow Great World. A practitioner who is half a step away from becoming a monarch. Let me try. Xie Bing knew that Night Sorrow was the key figure, but he still slandered him. Is there no one else in the allied army? Why did they send you here? Night Sorrow looked at Xie Bing and said, You're wrong. I said I'm a weakling because our allied army doesn't need a real master. Maybe I can do it as a monarch. Why can't you afford to play with me? At this moment, Night Sorrow was very relaxed. He had confidence in himself. Even if he could not withstand it, it was impossible for Xie Bing to kill him. At this moment he was wearing the 9 heavy armors. In addition to his strong physical defense, ordinary injuries were ineffective. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. I'll kill anyone who stands in my way. Xie Bing soared into the sky and pounced on Night Sorrow with the momentum of the way of the heavens. He was like an eagle soaring into the sky. Night Sorrow's feet shook and his body also soared into the sky. When Xie Bing's momentum of the way of the heavens swept over, Night Sorrow's fighting spirit burst out and resisted the pressure of the momentum of the way of the heavens. Not enough. Night Sorrow found that his fighting spirit had been fully released, but only a part of the suppression was offset. Half of it was still pressing toward him. Merit's immortal body. Night Sorrow operated the power of time in his body and activated the Merit's immortal body. A gray energy shield appeared, followed by a golden light. The pressure of the momentum of the way of the heavens was directly blocked and could not get close to him. Releasing his fighting spirit and activating the Merit's immortal body, Night Sorrow completely blocked the momentum of the way of the heavens released by Xie Bing. At this moment, Xie Bing's saber had also arrived in front of Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's right hand shook and the samsara slashed out against Xie Bing's saber. With a loud explosion, Night Sorrow's body flew backward. Similarly, Xie Bing's body was also pushed back. With one move, although Night Sorrow was pushed back, so was Xie Bing. This showed that Night Sorrow was indeed at a disadvantage, but it was not a situation where he was crushed. Then Night Sorrow and Xie Bing flew forward and charged at each other again. Their weapons slashed at each other. With another explosion, the two of them kept retreating. Although Xie Bing was strong and could suppress Night Sorrow, it could only suppress him. It could only send Night Sorrow flying, but it could not injure him. The two of them flipped in the air and energy sputtered in all directions. Night Sorrow did not use his doppelganger. If he had a doppelganger, he would have to consider the defense of 2 bodies, which would be a big loophole. He's stabilized, someone from the Sea King's palace said. The current situation had made everyone feel more at ease. They had been afraid that Night Sorrow would be defeated in 2 or 3 moves if he went up. Now that Night Sorrow was able to remain undefeated, that was enough. Then what are we waiting for? Kill them all. The hot-tempered Lord of Heaven Shun Hu roared and rushed toward Xie Bing's army. Yes, what are we waiting for? Tang Jianfeng also moved. Retreat, all of you retreat. Xie Bing shouted. He was restrained by Night Sorrow. In the remaining battle, the Lord of Heaven of Evil army was no match for the Xuanhuan Great World's allied army. Chapter 1449. Oh, update and new F and quickest hashtag. Because of the difference in realm, the energy contained in the body was different. Every time Night Sorrow clashed with the evil soldier, he would be pushed back or even sent flying. Fortunately, Night Sorrow's body was strong. After being pushed back or sent flying, he would instantly launch a second attack. He was on par with the evil soldier. Night Sorrow didn't use any trump card because he knew that he couldn't kill the evil soldier now. The difference between the two was too big. Even if he used his trump card, it would be useless. The evil soldier army retreated into the devil blood energy. The two sides didn't fight, and the heaven monarchs of the Alliance army also retreated. In order to avoid being surrounded again, the evil soldier slashed Night Sorrow back and used the rebound force to reach the edge of the devil blood energy. Standing on the back of the devil wolf, The evil soldier stared at Night Sorrow with a pair of gloomy eyes. What's your name? Stay if you have the guts. Night Sorrow, you don't have to tell me if I have the guts or not. If you dare to come out, I dare to fight. Isn't this enough to prove the problem? Night Sorrow swung samsara and said, I will definitely kill you in the future. The evil soldier threw down a sentence and turned back into the devil blood energy. Night Sorrow flashed and landed on the back of the ice Qilin, returning to the Alliance camp. How is it? Datura went to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow flashed and jumped off the back of the ice Qilin. He went to Datura's side and said, very good. It's just that my arms are numb from the impact. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, everyone felt relieved. They had been worried that Night Sorrow might have internal injuries. They were worried that he might look fine on the surface but was injured internally. Good. If you can withstand it, then we can hold on. There won't be any problem. Tang Jianfeng was a little excited. If Night Sorrow could withstand the enemy's strongest expert, then the following battle would be easy to fight. Night Sorrow waved his arm, and samsara flew into the sheath behind him. He then stretched his arms. His condition was excellent. After fighting for a while, there were no debuffs. After Night Sorrow exchanged a few pleasantries with everyone, he returned to his tent. As for the other heaven monarchs, they went to the main tent to discuss the countermeasures. Sandalwood, Datura, and Night Sorrow returned to Night Sorrow's tent. Datura was Night Sorrow's wife, while Sandalwood was Night Sorrow's senior brother. They were also best friends. Junior brother, you fought very steadily today. However, both of you did not use any of your ultimate moves. You have to be more careful the next time you fight, Zhan Tan said. Thank you for your reminder, senior brother. I'll be careful. I don't ask for anything else. I just want to hold him back. If I can't kill him, there's no need for me to use my ultimate skill. Night Sorrow explained the reason why he didn't use his ultimate skill. Yes. If you can't kill him, there's no need for you to use your ultimate skill. Using your ultimate skill will consume a lot of energy. Your energy is not as abundant as his, so it's important to control and conserve your energy, Datura said. Night Sorrow nodded. As for energy consumption, he wasn't afraid. He had leakless real body, so he could control his energy well. After this battle, everyone was very happy. This battle showed that the Xianhuang Great World's Alliance army could withstand the Devil Blood Domain's attack. It was enough for them to fight head-on without being at a disadvantage. Tang Jianfeng and the others drank tea together and discussed the next battle plan. It took 5 or 6 of our original body's clones to fight against the Devil Commander, but Night Sorrow did it all by himself. In the group of 3 great worlds, he became the #1 expert with the cultivation of a monarch. How domineering! Heaven Monarch Shen Hu said with some emotion. Heaven Monarch Shen Hu, you're exaggerating. Night Sorrow did what he should have done, Qing Emperor said. You and your disciple cultivate the way of gentlemen, and do what gentlemen should do. We understand that you're being modest, but facts are facts. Today's battle proved that his defensive skills are strong. That day he killed 2 heaven monarchs, which proves that his attack power is fierce. That's not enough, Heaven Monarch Shen Hu said. Haha, Qing Emperor, don't be modest on behalf of Night Sorrow. That Bai Taisong made everyone helpless, but in the end, Night Sorrow killed him. Which one of us could do the same? 3 Sons Heaven Monarch said. He's still young. He still has a long way to go, Qing Emperor Shen Hu said. He didn't want to erase his disciple's reputation. He just wanted Night Sorrow's path to be a little smoother. This is what we're all envious of. We've all reached a bottleneck, and it's difficult for us to increase our strength. Night Sorrow, on the other hand, is a mid-level monarch. There's a lot of room for improvement, Wuling Mountain Master said. Night Sorrow, Datura, and Zhan Tan drank tea and chatted casually. Aluo, my cultivation can still increase. Do you think they can start a war soon? Night Sorrow looked at Datura and asked. Just don't go into deep seclusion. It won't affect anything if you cultivate normally, Datura said. I plan to use the White Tiger Essence blood to cultivate and increase my body's strength. My body's strength is my biggest advantage against that demon commander, Night Sorrow said. Datura nodded. At that moment, Qing Emperor entered Night Sorrow's tent and handed a bottle of white tiger essence blood to Night Sorrow. Master, you're not using it? Night Sorrow looked at Qing Emperor and asked. You gave me 2 bottles. I used one to detoxify and combine the poisonous centipede dragon. Without the poisonous centipede dragon in my body, I can't use it. I can't afford it, Qing Emperor said with a smile. Then I'll take it. Night Sorrow nodded and took back the white tiger essence blood. After Night Sorrow used 1 bottle, he still had 4 bottles of white tiger essence blood. He was worried that it wouldn't be enough. His body could still withstand the strengthening of the white tiger essence blood. He hadn't reached his limit yet. Stay calm. As long as you can stay calm, there's nothing you can't do. Qing Emperor looked at Night Sorrow and said, I understand. Night Sorrow nodded. At that moment, in the command tent in the demon blood, Evil Soldier crushed a cup. Supreme Lord, what's up with that guy? Broken Moon didn't understand. We were unlucky. We met a cultivator who cultivated both body and chi. His body was at the same level as his chi. They were both in the monarch realm. In terms of body strength, I'm not as good as him. I can only rely on my higher realm and abundant true chi to suppress him. However, I can't completely suppress him because he has the supreme attribute, Evil Soldier muttered. He wasn't explaining to Broken Moon, but actually, he was explaining to himself why he didn't win. Broken Moon didn't say anything. He knew that Night Sorrow had used his battle will and virtuous body to block Evil Soldier's suppression of heaven and earth. In other words, Evil Soldier had no advantage over Night Sorrow. I didn't use my ultimate move this time because I didn't want him to be on guard. I wanted to succeed in 1 strike, Evil Soldier said. Broken Moon nodded. He also knew this. Is there any news from my senior brother? Evil Soldier looked at Broken Moon. Lai Bingzuan hasn't come out of seclusion yet. He probably needs more time, Broken Moon reported. Chapter 1450. The Devil Blood Domain started the Realm War, because the Demon Blood World's lifespan was reaching its end. They started the Realm War to plunder the origin energy, and recharge the Demon Blood World's origin energy. Previously, the Devil Blood Domain had already succeeded in plundering a domain. However, they encountered a problem when attacking the Primal Chaos Domain this time. Waiting for an opportunity, Xiebing felt that it was meaningless to continue attacking now. He had to stabilize himself before attacking and killing Night Sorrow when he least expected it. Night Sorrow started cultivating again. His true body cultivated in the tent while his clone did what he was supposed to do. Night Sorrow did not like to stay with the older generation of heaven monarchs. He often went to the god-slaying team to drink with his brothers or chat with Hai Ling, Tang Bo, Tang Xian, Tang Yi Junhua, and the others. In the beginning, Hai Ling and the others were very restrained because Yishang wasn't on the same level as them. Even the heaven monarchs were very respectful to Yishang. They didn't even have the qualifications to talk to Yishang. However, Night Sorrow did not see it that way. He interacted with people not based on cultivation but on friendship and feelings. If you were a friend, it was fine even if you did not have cultivation. If you were not a friend, he would ignore you even if you were a heaven monarch. The god-slaying team became a gathering place for young people. They cultivated together and drank together. I envy them so much. Tang Jianfeng, who was standing outside the command tent, said to Qing Emperor with some emotion. Haha, the world of young people. Qing Emperor nodded. He liked Night Sorrow's temperament. No matter how much he improved, his temperament remained the same. Your disciple has a wife. Why don't I betroth my daughter to him? Tang Jianfeng said with a smile. You think too much. My daughter is still unmarried. If possible, it will not be your turn. Qing Emperor glanced at Tang Jianfeng. Ha ha ha, you are also conflicted. Then let's not talk about it. Let's go for a drink. Tang Jianfeng realized that Qing Emperor was more conflicted than him, and was instantly happy. At the same time, he admired Qing Emperor even more. In the world of cultivation, the master was like a father, and the disciple would naturally obey the master's orders. However, Qing Emperor had not made such a request. Night Sorrow had done so out of respect. The situation was very stable, the original body of the Qing Emperor, and the 2 heaven monarchs of the Evil Valley, had also arrived at the Black-Yellow Great World. This meant that the Black-Yellow Great World was fully supporting this realm war. However, this situation also led to another incident. Ling Tian launched a war and attacked Samsara City at lightning speed. He closed the teleportation formation immediately, and prevented the Qing Emperor and the others from coming back to help. Such a sudden incident caught everyone off guard. Qing Emperor and the others sat together to discuss how to solve this problem. Currently, only the original body of Lord of Heaven Lu Xiang is present in the world of Samsara. She can't stop Ling Tian and the others, the Qing Emperor said. Let's defend ourselves first. Then we'll think of a way to reinforce them, Night Sorrow said. Yuan Dao Heavenly Lord was still in the reincarnation Great World. However, no one dared to go up. Yong Jiu read 5 novels for free. Night Sorrow. Ling Tian has a huge grudge against us. Qing Emperor's city may not be safe, the Qing Emperor said to Night Sorrow. The soldiers of the 9 Heaven Army have clones. Pass on our orders. Everyone who is hostile to the Celestial Sect should retreat to the 9 Heaven World Group first, Night Sorrow said. Then orders were issued one after another. Samsara City had fallen and the Celestial Sect had to stabilize, so they had some time to retreat. Everyone, our families and relatives are in the greatest danger now. The 9 Heaven World Group where I was born is more stable. If it's still not enough, retreat to the 9 Domain World. They can't break into the 9 Domain World no matter what. We'll think about counterattacking after we stabilize, Night Sorrow said. Half a day later, Lord of Heaven Lu Xiang told Night Sorrow and the others that the people who might be attacked and slaughtered by Ling Tian had been arranged. Some of them were hidden, while others retreated to the 9 Heaven World Group from the 9 Heaven building and closed the teleportation array. In addition, the hidden hand was also arranged. Even if the teleportation array of the 9 Heaven building was destroyed, the Celestial Master Array Master could set it up at any time. As long as the good people are safe, Night Sorrow nodded. He valued people the most. As long as there were people alive, everything was easy to deal with. This bastard, he really deserves to die. Sima Tianqing opened his mouth and cursed. They are very strong. In addition, the bloodthirsty Legion of the Dark Abyss is also fighting with them. They are led by the Dark Ruler. Lord of Heaven Lu Xiang said with a bitter smile. Night Sorrow and Datura looked at each other. They thought of something. We all know that the Lord Ruler's original body and clone are here, but now the Dark Ruler has appeared. He should be the one who captured Night Sorrow last time. The Dark Abyss doesn't understand the situation, so they naturally listen to orders, Lord of Heaven Lu Xiang said. At this time, the Fiend Blood Legion also came to report. He had just learned about this from his subordinates. The Fiend Blood Legion's original body and clone were separated. They knew that Datura was here, so they raised their doubts. But as long as they had different opinions, they were all killed. It's Datura Chinensis. Datura's face was filled with killing intent. Datura Chinensis's move not only ruined the reputation of the Dark Abyss, but also killed some of her loyal followers. That's not the most important thing. Ling Tian closed some teleportation arrays. In other words, if we want to use the teleportation arrays between low-level and high-level worlds, we won't be able to go back. He wants to lock us outside and then unify the reincarnation world, said Lord of Heaven Lu Xiang. His intentions are hateful. Qing Emperor was a bit annoyed. Brother Qing, let's go look for a map and see the route our ancestors used to set up the teleportation arrays. Once we find the route, it'll be easy. If our ancestors can pass through the void to set up teleportation arrays, so can we, said Tang Jianfeng. Lord of Heaven Xinhu, you guys should also look for the route to set up teleportation arrays. Wuling Mountain Master said. The reincarnation world was in trouble because they wanted to help the Black-Yellow Great World. He felt that everyone should help. The reincarnation world is in internal strife, but it's not in danger of being destroyed. The realm war of the Black-Yellow Great World is more important. Everyone, continue to fight here. I'll go look for the route. Once we know the route and a suitable opportunity, we'll launch a counterattack. Qing Emperor said. He was a Lord of Heaven with the spatial attribute. Setting up teleportation arrays required traveling through the void turbulence. He was more suitable. Night Sorrow and the others nodded. This was the best solution for now. Mandala Shura, how dare you try to take over my place? I must kill her. Datura was very angry. Let's study the route first. As for the counterattack, we need to think carefully. This time, we and the Celestial Sect have reached a point of life and death. When we fight, they may activate the 9th rank corpse, said Sima Tiancheng. The Celestial Sect had always been a hidden danger. Everyone didn't take action because of the threat of the 9th rank corpse. But now, the Celestial Sect had shed all pretense of cordiality and wanted to dominate the world. Not to mention the 9th rank corpse. Even if it was the 18th rank corpse, everyone had to find a way to deal with it. Chapter 1451. Unsealed. Shengguan Heng's original body sent news that Ling Tian had destroyed the 9-story tower and captured Jun Xuanji's clone. However, Jun Xuanji's clone had self-destructed. Night Sorrow was furious when he heard the news. However, he could only endure it now because he couldn't go back even if he wanted to. Besides, he didn't have enough resources. After drinking a cup of heart-cleansing tea, Night Sorrow calmed down. It was useless to think about it now. He couldn't go back. Even if he could go back, it would be difficult to avenge Jun Xuanji. No one knew the hidden strength of the Celestial Sect. Night Sorrow's original body continued to cultivate while his clone studied battle techniques every day and waited for news. Qing Emperor's original body stayed in the Alliance camp to cultivate. He still needed to improve after his recovery. His clone had already gone to set up a teleportation array. Of course, it wouldn't be a problem that could be solved in a short time. Night Sorrow returned to the tent from the God-slaying team's camp. Above 6-inch Night Sorrow, don't think too much. So what if Ling Tian took down the reincarnation Great World? As long as our people are safe, we can kill whenever we go back. Jun Xuanji's clone has fallen. It's actually not a big deal. With her current level, it's difficult for her to condense another clone, Datura said. It's not a big problem. The key is that she chose to follow me to explore the world. However, I can't protect her. It's my fault. So whoever hurts her I'll kill back, Night Sorrow said. From the perspective of the big picture, the battle here is more important, Datura said. She was calmer than Night Sorrow now. I understand. Night Sorrow nodded. Then Qing Emperor came over. Night Sorrow, it's a little troublesome. Ling Tian probably had a plan. I went to 2 small worlds. Although the teleportation arrays weren't destroyed, the teleportation arrays in specific directions were closed. In other words, the teleportation crystals were taken away. Destroying the teleportation arrays would make one a public enemy. However, the teleportation crystals were taken away, so it wasn't considered destruction. Ling Tian had many sovereigns under him. Some small worlds couldn't resist and could only accept it. What should we do? Night Sorrow looked at Qing Emperor and asked. I can only find the nearest spatial turbulence between worlds to set up a new teleportation array, said the Qing Emperor. Night Sorrow nodded. In such a situation, no one could do anything about it. They could only slowly set it up, which was a very troublesome matter. The distance between high-level worlds was very far, and there was no way to directly travel between them. One had to first go to a small world, then travel from small world to small world, and then to a high-level world. This required time and a lot of effort. Night Sorrow would walk around the front lines every day to feel the devil blood chi and its characteristics. Seeing Night Sorrow loitering in front of the camp every day, Evil Soldier was very angry. But there was no point in fighting now because he had no confidence in defeating Night Sorrow. It would be humiliating if a practitioner of the half-step Imperial realm couldn't take down a monarch, which would hurt the morale of the Evil Soldier's legion. Therefore, he didn't want to do that. He wanted to wait for the arrival of fierce soldiers of Heavenly Blade to crush them, and then attack directly. Night Sorrow's original body had been cultivating. After his body was strengthened, he continued to comprehend the will. The situation was stable for half a year. The Spacetime Pagoda and Immortal Creation Pavilion had finished fusing, forming the Haotian Divine Pagoda. It should be said that the Haotian Divine Pagoda had been completely restored. Lil Kong had become the weapon spirit of the Haotian Divine Pagoda. The Haotian Divine Pagoda was much stronger than the Spacetime Pagoda. The completely restored Haotian Divine Pagoda had 90 levels, and the time acceleration had more than doubled. The last level had reached 50 times. 1 year in the outside world could be cultivated for 50 years inside. This was the time acceleration, and the other level was the time deceleration. 50 years outside was 1 year inside. This effect was useless for cultivation, but if someone was seriously injured or needed time to solve the problem, the time deceleration would be effective. The Immortal Creation Pavilion's effect was also in the Haotian Divine Pagoda, which was to seize the fortune of heaven and earth and change the aptitude of the cultivator. In addition, the Haotian Divine Pagoda's ability to absorb the spirit energy of heaven and earth was stronger. Originally, the Spirit Gathering Array in the Space-Time Pagoda could gather the energy of heaven and earth. After this fusion, the power of the Spirit Gathering Array was even stronger. The body protection function was also stronger. Bai Taesong's origin battle armor had a power that was almost unbreakable under the Heaven Monarch realm. The defense of the Haotian Divine Pagoda was the same. Night Sorrow activated the Haotian Divine Pagoda, and Datira used the Hollow Blade to break through Night Sorrow's defense. Currently, there were 2 defensive heavenly artifacts. One was Night Sorrow's Haotian Divine Pagoda, and the other was Lord of Heaven God Tiger's Heart Protection Mirror. There was a big difference between the two. Lord of Heaven God Tiger's Heart Protection Mirror could only protect his internal organs. At most, it could only protect his upper body. In terms of effect, it couldn't be compared to the Haotian Divine Pagoda. Night Sorrow's Haotian Divine Pagoda could transform and directly transform into energy to protect Night Sorrow's body. The success of the Haotian Divine Pagoda's recovery made Night Sorrow very happy, because it had increased a lot of combatability. For the sake of concealment, Night Sorrow let his clone carry the Haotian Divine Pagoda, while his original body would cultivate 50 times faster inside to comprehend the will of heaven and earth. Night Sorrow's increase in strength made Datira and Sandalwood very happy. Only the 2 of them knew about this matter, because Night Sorrow didn't like to be flamboyant. Qing Emperor was still setting up the teleportation array. As for the current situation, Tang Jianfeng and the others didn't have a good way to solve it. They could only wait. Fortunately, the area occupied by the evil soldier army wasn't big. Even if it hurt the origin, the problem wasn't too serious. Night Sorrow had analyzed the situation. He felt that the potential danger was very big. If the other party didn't have confidence, then they would retreat. If they didn't retreat, then it meant that they still had the intention to fight. If they didn't fight now, then they were either preparing or waiting for an opportunity. Night Sorrow was happy to stall for time. He was now in the period of increasing his strength. If he could stall for a year, then he would cultivate for 50 years. Night Sorrow's comprehension of the will was still very fast. Although the Haotian Divine Pagoda didn't display its will, he could still deduce it. In addition, the Haotian Divine Pagoda could let Night Sorrow's soul remain light and agile. Not long after entering the Haotian Divine Pagoda, Night Sorrow's will of nothingness entered 95%. He had been improving a while ago, but he didn't level up. The situation was very stable, but everyone knew that this was the eve of a storm. In addition, Night Sorrow also did something that others couldn't think of. He sat at the front of the battlefield, felt the invasion of the devil blood chi, and cultivated his own battle intent. Sandalwood and Datira protected him from the back, because Night Sorrow couldn't be ambushed. In the camp in the devil blood chi, the evil soldier was very angry when he found out about the situation. However, he didn't lose his mind. He still had to wait. There was no point in fighting now. He had to wait for the opportunity to kill in one strike. The Azure Supreme Tharch had been setting up the teleportation formation. This was a long-term project. Of course, the teleportation formation this time was more secretive. It was used for the war and served the war. After the war ended, the teleportation formation between the 2 worlds would be opened again. There would be no need to set up the teleportation formation now. Speak. The 3rd watch has arrived. Happy birthday to Brother Fatty. Chapter 1452. Unsealed. Time slowly slipped away. SHXS/a year had passed. Night Sorrow had cultivated in the Haotian godly pagoda for 50 years. His willpower had increased to 96%, which meant that he was at the peak of the mid-level monarch rank. Viqing Emperor had also built 2/3 of the teleportation array, and was not far from completion. During this year, Ling Tian had made the reincarnation world a mess. Now that the main forces of the various forces had retreated, the celestial sect led by Ling Tian did not face much resistance. Therefore, it was very troublesome. Evil Soldier was very irritated. When Night Sorrow was cultivating his battle intent, he could not suppress the anger in his heart and attacked. Since Evil Soldier came out, Night Sorrow naturally followed to fight. Night Sorrow was fighting with his clone. Normally speaking, a doppelganger was not as strong as the main body. Yi Shang's doppelganger had 90% of the main body's combat strength. After a year of cultivation, the White Tiger's blood essence had strengthened his body and strengthened his will. Now his doppelganger's combat strength was even stronger than the main body's from a year ago. Night Sorrow did not use his ultimate move. He just fought Evil Soldier head-on. There was no army battle, but the army's cheers rose and fell. Especially the Nine Heavens Army and the Demon Blood Army. Night Sorrow was their soul and idol. Evil Soldier's vital energy was strong, but he could not take down Night Sorrow's tyrannical body. He even used his ultimate move, the Evil Star 7 consecutive slashes with a soul attack. If a cultivator did not have a soul defense, it would be good if they could block 2 or 3 slashes, let alone 7 consecutive slashes. Evil Soldier used his ultimate move with a soul attack. Purple and gold light appeared on Night Sorrow's head. The purple halo was the energy of the Void Origin bead activated by the soul power. The gold halo was the light of virtue. With the defense of the two, Evil Soldier's soul attack was ineffective. After blocking the soul attack, Night Sorrow swung the air and blocked Evil Soldier's battle blade. While the main body was cultivating, the clone was outside. Night Sorrow placed the Void Origin bead on the clone to protect it. After the ultimate move was blocked, Night Sorrow was not injured at all. Evil Soldier's body flashed and left the battlefield, returning to the Demon Blood Chi. If the ultimate move was ineffective, then what was the point of fighting? It would be shameful to continue fighting. In the battle between Evil Soldier and Night Sorrow, as long as Night Sorrow did not lose, it would be an honor for Evil Soldier, because they were at different levels. In the world of cultivators, having a high cultivation level but low combat strength was a sign of incompetence. He was a half-step Imperial Realm cultivator, but he couldn't take down Night Sorrow, who was a Monarch Realm cultivator. That was a sign of incompetence. No one would understand how difficult it was for Night Sorrow just because he was strong. With a flick of his right hand, breaking space flew back into the pouch on his back. Then Night Sorrow continued to meditate and cultivate, continuing to research how to deal with the demonic blood chi. Steady. The air of a great general. Night Sorrow was calm and magnanimous, because from beginning to end, Night Sorrow hadn't said a single word. If you want to fight, I'll fight with you. He used his actions to express his intentions. Their morale was boosted. The Evil Soldiers returned without achieving anything again, which boosted the morale of the allied forces of the Black-Yellow Great World. In the past year, Night Sorrow's strength has increased a lot. Even his avatar has such combat strength, Lord of Heaven Shinhu exclaimed. It's still the time for cultivation improvement. It's good for us to maintain the situation, the master of Wuling Mountain said. So we'd better wait. Don't give him any pressure, Lord of Heaven Shinhu said. Night Sorrow was an avatar. Everyone found this out as soon as they checked. So did Xiebing. Xiebing was annoyed. He knew Night Sorrow was not as good as him in terms of realm and cultivation, but he just couldn't take him down. He couldn't accept this feeling. After drinking a jar of wine, Xiebing calmed down. He felt he had to wait. If he was restrained by Night Sorrow, the Lords of Heaven under his command wouldn't be able to deal with the allied forces of the Black-Yellow Great World. Broken Moon, go back and call the Sky Killer's troop over, Xiebing said to Broken Moon. The Sky Killer's troop was the best defensive troop in the Devil Blood region. Even the troop was at a disadvantage. Xiebing had to find a way to turn the situation around. After dealing with Xiebing, Night Sorrow continued to cultivate his fighting will. Releasing the fighting will had a strong effect on the battle. Releasing the fighting will had no effect on Xiebing, but Xiebing's suppression of the Heaven Way would be weakened. This was what Night Sorrow wanted. When he was tired from cultivating, Night Sorrow went to the tent to chat and drink tea with Datura. 2 years had passed. The Qing Emperor finished setting up the teleportation formation. It was completely connected. After it was connected, the higher-ups of the Allied forces all went to the command tent. This time, Night Sorrow was there as well. This was closely related to him. In the tent, everyone was discussing how to deal with it. The reincarnation world is still stable. Ling Tian led his men to rule all the regions. The eastern region of the reincarnation world is now under the control of the Dark Abyss. That Datura Chinensis is ruthless. She killed many people. She also killed some people from the Dark Abyss, the Qing Emperor said. After the teleportation formation was set up, the Qing Emperor went back to the reincarnation world to check on the situation. He reported what he found. Damn it. I'll go back and kill her now. Datura was a little angry. Aluo, don't be anxious. It's useless for 1 or 2 people to go back. It's not suitable for all of us to go back. The situation here is very important. If we retreat, the enemy may charge directly, Night Sorrow said. Datura sighed and sat down. She knew that Night Sorrow was right. Even if he was wrong, she would respect Night Sorrow's opinion. The Red Emperor and the Qing Emperor looked at each other. They knew Datura. Once she was angry, there was no way to calm her down. Fortunately, Night Sorrow's persuasion was effective. Datura was still able to calm down. Night Sorrow, tell us your opinion. The Qing Emperor looked at Night Sorrow. If we want to take back control, we need a decisive battle. In terms of strength, the Celestial Sect only has 2 Lord of Heaven Realm combat power. If we go back with 2 or 3 people, we can crush them. But in fact, we can't. If we want to fight, we have to kill them all at once. We have to face the rank 9 skeleton. In addition, we can kill Datura Chinensis. But if we kill her before the decisive battle, we will be exposed in advance and the Celestial Sect will be prepared in advance. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said, if there was anyone who wanted to kill Datura Chinensis the most, it was naturally Night Sorrow because she was a threat to Datura. However, if they killed Datura Chinensis before the decisive battle, the Celestial Sect would have a radical reaction. It was unwise to anger the Celestial Sect because it would bring about a massacre. Then we'll listen to you. Datura said. Others didn't know, but Datura knew that Night Sorrow's original body was cultivating under a time acceleration of 50 times. If he endured for a while, Night Sorrow's strength would be greatly improved. In the end, the result of their discussion was to endure the realm war in the Black-Yellow Great World to solve the crisis here. Then, all the Allied forces could be transferred to the Samsara Great World to solve the war caused by the Celestial Sect's ambition. We still have to hurry. The Celestial Sect is vigorously collecting resources, which is a big blow to the major forces. I don't know what they are going to do. The Qing Emperor said. Resources were the foundation. The Celestial Sect was now scraping the land for resources. These resources were the development resources of the major forces. If these resources were gone, even if they took back control, the damage would be immeasurable. Speak. The 4th update is here. Today's update is complete. Thank you for the help, brothers and sisters. Chapter 1453. No matter what they want to do, they have a plan because they know that they can't keep us out forever. So I'm worried that they will make a mess and then run away, Night Sorrow said. It's not impossible. They used the rank 9 skeleton to scare us, and then ran away after plundering it. In the end, the threat of the rank 9 skeleton is still there. Our loss will be for nothing. Lord of Precious Fragrance said. Where can they run to? This time we'll kill them to the end, Sima Tiancheng said. I've already sent people to plant inside. If there's any news or signs, the news will come, Lord of Precious Fragrance said. After the meeting, some people went back to make arrangements. After all, they had to go back and make some arrangements for the hidden people for more than 2 years. Night Sorrow also left. The 9-story building was heavily damaged, and he was very angry. Knowing that Night Sorrow was going back, Shangguan Hong's clone informed the hidden Heavenly Adept Formation Master to activate the teleportation formation to the 9 Firmament World Group at the Heaven Tiger Pass. There were defensive array formations on both sides of the Heaven Tiger Pass. It was not something that could be broken in a short period of time. Additionally, there were also defensive array formations inside the Heaven Tiger Pass. Hence, the Azure Supreme Dark City's princes, officials, and other important people retreated to the Heaven Tiger Pass first. After retreating to the Heaven Tiger Pass, the Formation Master set up the teleportation formation to the 9 Firmament World Group and sent some people there. Nu Lin's clone was guarding the place with the formation plate. Usually, the teleportation formation to the 9 Firmament World Group was closed. Now that they knew that Night Sorrow was coming back, Nu Lin and Shangguan Hong activated the teleportation formation. Stepping on the teleportation formation, Night Sorrow arrived at the reincarnation world in a moment. The location was in a big canyon in the eastern part of the reincarnation world. The Qing Emperor was connected to a low-level world or a high-level world. The teleportation formation was laid out step by step. After connecting to the reincarnation world, in order to avoid mistakes, he set up a teleportation formation that directly connected the 2 worlds. This canyon was the Fog Canyon. It was relatively safe with few people. It was the place where the secret guards were trained. It was more convenient for his own people to enter and exit, but others couldn't. Out of the Fog Canyon, Night Sorrow flew at top speed. After 2 hours, he arrived at the Heaven Tiger Pass. Nodding to Nu Lin and Shangguan Hong, Night Sorrow got on the teleportation formation and teleported to the 9 Firmament World Group. After arriving at 7 Night City, Night Sorrow saw Jun Xuanji. "I'm sorry. I didn't think that far ahead and caused you to lose your clone," Night Sorrow said apologetically. "It's nothing. It's normal for a cultivator to lose a clone, but..." Jun Xuanji hesitated as he looked at Night Sorrow. "But what? What's wrong?" Night Sorrow frowned. "After my doppelganger self-detonated, it seems that my soul power didn't disperse. It's sealed," Jun Xuanji said in a low voice. "Don't worry, I will seek justice for you later. Ling Tian must die." Night Sorrow's body was filled with killing intent. He was truly furious. After that, Night Sorrow asked about the defense of the 9 Firmament World Group. After learning that there were no problems, he felt at ease. "Your doppelganger has fallen. Your main body will stay in the Sky City. If there are orders, let others carry them out. Aunt Fei, you should also go to the Sky City," Night Sorrow said to Wu Lingfei as he turned his head. When Night Sorrow wasn't there, Jun Xuanji was in charge of the overall situation. Wu Lingfei assisted him. Now that Jun Xuanji had lost his clone, his main body was the most important. He couldn't be careless. Wu Lingfei was one of the people Night Sorrow respected and cared about the most. He was also very worried. "Don't worry. We have many backup plans and the Ice Dragon Great Array. Even if the other party uses some method to break the seal of the teleportation formation, we still have time to retreat. However, the war in the Black-Yellow Great World is more important," Jun Xuanji said. "I'm worried, so I came back to take a look. I have to go back in a while. Aunt Fei, if you stay here, my main body will go to the Heaven Sealing Great Hall. If anything happens, you can inform me immediately," Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. "Okay, my main body will go there in a while." Wu Lingfei nodded. "There's another thing. As for the defense of Aluo, or rather, the defense of Datura Chinensis, as long as Aluo doesn't come back with me, she can't use any of the teleportation formations," Night Sorrow said again. He was worried that Datura Chinensis would break into the inner circle. That would be big trouble. Jun Xuanji and Wu Lingfei both nodded. They already knew about this. Night Sorrow told some people to go back to the 9 Regions world. He returned to the Heaven Tiger Pass, and then went back to the Black-Yellow Great World. At this time, many people had returned because the battlefield here was the most important. Everyone sat together and talked about it. They found that the problem wasn't too big. It was just that the Samsara city had suffered a great loss when they didn't retreat strategically at the beginning. It's not too big of a loss. Let them occupy the Samsara world first. When the situation here stabilizes, we'll go back, Qing Emperor said. When the time comes, we'll kill those bastards together, Lord of Heaven God Hu said. Everyone laughed. As long as the people around them were fine, they were more worried about him. Night Sorrow, we're short of top-grade teleportation stones. We only found one in the Divine Martial City. Take it. Then Lord of Heaven God Marshall took out a big piece of teleportation crystal. Top-grade teleportation crystals were hard to find. The teleportation crystal that Qing Emperor set up in the Fog Grand Canyon belonged to Tang Jianfeng. The Black-Yellow Great World only had one top-grade teleportation crystal. Now Lord of Heaven God, who might have the only top-grade teleportation crystal in the Shimwu Great World. Then I'll take it. We really need it now. Later, I'll continue to set up a secret teleportation formation. That way, even if they have diviners, they won't be able to destroy it, Night Sorrow said. We don't need to be polite. I think that as long as we don't make any noise, they won't notice it easily, Tang Jianfeng said. Night Sorrow nodded, and then teleported back to the Fog Grand Canyon. Then, he went to the Sky Tiger Pass and set up a teleportation formation that was waiting to be activated. If it was activated, the diviners could do divinations. If it wasn't activated, what could they do? One side of the teleportation formation was at the Sky Tiger Pass, while the other side was at the Black-Yellow Great World. As long as Night Sorrow inserted the teleportation crystal in his hand, he could teleport. Now everyone was waiting for the war to end, and then counterattack. As for the damage, the Celestial Sect didn't cause much damage to the Reincarnation Great World. The top forces all took the initiative to retreat, and took away all the resources. There was only so much that could be plundered. Or was the only authentic version. The other were stolen versions. Night Sorrow, we can't keep wasting time here. In the past we didn't care. But now, the Reincarnation Great World will be occupied by others. We can't do that, Tang Jianfeng said. I need time to deal with that evil soldier, Night Sorrow said. Speak. The first update arrived. Chapter 1454. There is no possibility of defeating him at the moment, so a head-on battle is not a solution. I still need some time. When it's about time, I will fight with all my strength and see if I can defeat him. Yishan opened his mouth and said. At this moment, everyone was looking at Yishang. Their eyes were filled with astonishment. They had never thought of taking down the evil soldier. Is there hope? Qing Emperor looked at Night Sorrow. When I reach the High Monarch level, I plan to fight with all my strength with my doppelganger. If I don't try, I don't know if it will work. His foundation is already like this, and he has already used his unique skill, so I am not afraid of him, Night Sorrow said. Good. Tang Jianfeng slammed the table. Then Night Sorrow returned to his tent and talked to Datura. You have to stay calm. Don't rush. The situation is already like this, and it can't get any worse, Datura said. I understand. When I reach the High Monarch level, I will see the difference. Night Sorrow nodded at Datura. You are my husband, or else I would be jealous of you. Do you know how many years it took to become a monarch in history? Millions of years. Not to mention the High Monarch level. Datura looked at Night Sorrow and smiled. Night Sorrow's original body was comprehending the will, and his doppelganger was sharpening his fighting spirit at the front of the battlefield. The evil soldier looked really angry. The demon blood chi had a great effect on cultivators outside the demon blood region. But Night Sorrow was using it to train himself. Bear with it, the evil soldier had to bear with it. As long as a fierce soldier at the same level as him came, the current problem would be solved. At the headquarters of the Celestial Sect in the Reincarnation World, Ling Tian was talking to a few higher-ups. Ling Ju was there too. It's unrealistic for us to completely block Emperor Qing and the others outside. At most, it would take us 3 to 5 years. Now that 2 years have passed, we have to consider moving and retreating. The plundering formation has been set up, And the Samsara Palace is isolated from the outside world. No one will know what we have done. If we plunder the origin energy without anyone knowing, our ultimate mission has been completed, Ling Tian said. There was a mistake in our calculations this time. We should have started fighting everywhere, giving them the opportunity to escape with the resources. This caused us to be able to plunder fewer resources. An elder spoke. He was Ling Tianyu, Ling Tian's cousin. Time doesn't allow us to play around. Tianyu, you'll be in charge of plundering. Ling Ju and I will leave first. There's no need for us to continue developing in the reincarnation world, because there won't be any more luck, Ling Tian said. Father, I don't plan to leave. Let me refine that woman's soul first. Ling Tian said. Well, let's prepare for both sides. After plundering, you can retreat to the Kuan inferior world. I will talk to the higher-ups. We have done a great job this time, so the sect should give us special treatment, Ling Tian said. The Celestial Sect was originally a subordinate sect of the Celestial Sect in the Celestial Realm. The main purpose of its development in the reincarnation world was to plunder the Qi of the origin and enhance the Celestial Sect's luck. The Celestial Sect referred to the Celestial Sect in the Celestial Realm. The main force of the reincarnation world was assisting the Xuanhuan Great World in this realm war. Ling Tian thought it was the best chance in countless years, so he took action. At the same time, Datura Chinensis came to the alliance. The two sides hit it off and started the war. Ling Tian was also trying to buy time by sealing the teleportation formation. He knew that if the ancestors could set up the teleportation formation, the Azure Arch and the others could as well. What they needed was time. During this time, Ling Tian sent people to set up the plundering formation to surround the Samsara Palace. It took Ling Tian 2 years to set up the plundering formation. He didn't want to be detected by the origin of the reincarnation world. The origin of the reincarnation world was very powerful. Once the origin of the reincarnation world found out what he was doing, it would probably kill them. Ling Tian succeeded. He set up countless small formations in the past 2 years. After countless small formations were activated, the plundering formation was activated. It completely surrounded the reincarnation palace. The origin of the reincarnation world couldn't even ask for help. Look, the plundering formation was very deceptive. It surrounded the reincarnation palace and would not be easily seen through or destroyed. No one would think that there was a plundering formation outside the reincarnation palace. No one could do that. Everyone would think that it was a self-defense formation created by the reincarnation palace. In addition, in order to avoid the counterattack of the reincarnation world, Ling Tian planned to retreat. His task had been completed. There was no need to stay. He had more than one way out. First of all, they had the foundation of a small world. In addition, the Celestial Sect had a passage to the Celestial Realm. Of course, the passage also had restrictions. It was different from the passage guarded by Yuan Daotian. The Celestial Sect's passage was one way. In other words, one could only leave. It was suppressed by the origin of the reincarnation world. Otherwise, the experts of the Celestial Sect would have already arrived at the reincarnation world. In addition to these, Ling Tian also set up a backup plan. After activating the rank 9 skeleton, he placed it in the plundering formation. In other words, anyone who attacked the plundering formation would be killed by the rank 9 skeleton. The rank 9 skeleton was infused with his soul spirit energy. The energy that Ling Tian infused into the rank 9 skeleton could last for 100 years. In 100 years, the origin of the reincarnation world would be almost depleted. After arranging all these, Ling Tian left to deal with the follow-up matters. Ling Tianyu was enough to deal with the matters of the reincarnation world. As long as the Qing Emperor and the others returned, they would retreat. After Ling Tian left, Ling Tianyu went to deal with the plundering of resources. Ling Ju returned to his palace. In the palace, Ling Ju took out a crystal ball. The crystal ball was filled with energy rays, a rare in-origin soul. After refining and absorbing it, the strength of my soul will increase, Ling Ju muttered softly. When the Celestial Sect attacked the 9 grand floors, Ling Ju went. Because he hated night sorrow, He wanted to destroy Night Sorrow's forces with his own hands. When Jun Xuanji self-detonated, Ling Tian discovered that Jun Xuanji's soul was a pure in-origin soul. Refining it could strengthen one's body, so he sealed it and gave it to Ling Ju. Jun Xuanji sensed that his doppelganger's soul was about to be refined. This was a big matter. It could easily cause a chain reaction that would harm the main body. While controlling his soul spirit energy to resist, Jun Xuanji went to the Heaven Sealing Palace and told Night Sorrow about it. After hearing this, Night Sorrow, who was cultivating outside the demonic blood qi, stood up. This matter was too big. He had to deal with it. If he couldn't protect the people around him, how could he protect the world? Night Sorrow decided to act. In order to prevent any side effects, he decided to send his doppelganger. If he sent his doppelganger out, Ling Tian would think that Night Sorrow already had a doppelganger in the reincarnation world. In addition, Night Sorrow also wanted to see how powerful the 9th stage skeleton was. After telling Datura that he had something to do, Night Sorrow directly left. After returning to the 9 regions world, Night Sorrow set off with Jun Xuanji. Jun Xuanji could sense his soul. Speak. The second chapter has arrived. Thank you Zhang. He unsealed yesterday's chapter. Chapter 1455. It was dangerous to bring Jun Xuanji along, but Night Sorrow could only do so. When the time came, he would put Jun Xuanji into the 8-dragon cauldron. Night Sorrow did not believe that a rank 9 skeleton could be much stronger than an evil weapon. Using energy to change the muscles on his face, he teleported twice. After arriving at the celestial sect, Night Sorrow wrapped Jun Xuanji with his energy and flew quickly. While flying, Night Sorrow circulated his leakless true body to the extreme, mainly because he did not want to be detected by the other party. While they were flying, Jun Xuanji kept telling Yishang the location of his senses. Hold on, you must hold on. The integrity of your soul is very important. You cannot be refined by the other party. Night Sorrow was a little anxious. Z-chap. XII. For inch, don't be too anxious. According to the current situation, I can still hold on for a few hours. Jun Xuanji said. That's enough. A few hours is enough. Night Sorrow breathed out and said. If he could save Jun Xuanji, then a few hours would be enough. If not, then a few days would be useless. Night Sorrow, it's my fault this time. I should not have told you and let you take the risk. After telling Night Sorrow, Jun Xuanji regretted it because Night Sorrow would definitely take action if he knew about this. If he did, then he would have to bear a great risk. It's indeed a great risk. If I can't win, then both of us will die here. You can't blame me, Night Sorrow said with a smile. He was actually not too worried because it would not be easy for anyone to kill him. Night Sorrow, you really shouldn't do this. You are the core of the 9 domains world, or even the core of the reincarnation great world. You shouldn't take such a risk for me. I don't even know how to face Chuyu and Yang Lei. At this moment, Jun Xuanji was feeling uneasy. She was close friends with Sikong Chuyu and the others, but by revealing her situation, she was putting Night Sorrow at risk. They will understand. It would be unforgivable if you didn't tell them. We fought side by side and walked out of the 9 domains world together. We are friends who have gone through life and death together. We are brothers and sisters who have gone through life and death together. You can't leave me with any regrets, Night Sorrow said. I know. We're getting closer and closer, Jun Xuanji said to Night Sorrow. Hearing Jun Xuanji's words, Night Sorrow became even more cautious. He also set up a low-level teleportation array and embedded the teleportation array disk with a teleportation crystal. This way it would be easier to retreat. After flying for a while, they arrived at the core area of the celestial sect. Night Sorrow spread his soul force to the maximum. This time, Night Sorrow was planning to sneak attack and rescue someone. He would leave once he succeeded. Of course, he couldn't be discovered. As they got closer, more and more guards appeared. However, it was impossible for them to discover Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow was very fast. Using the buildings, he moved forward quickly. It's that white palace. My soul force is trapped inside. After getting close, Jun Xuanji pointed out the target. Releasing his soul force, Night Sorrow found Ling Ju holding the crystal ball and trying to refine it. There were no heaven monarchs in this area. After checking, Night Sorrow confirmed the situation. You enter the 8-dragon cauldron. I'll go kill him. Once I succeed, we'll retreat. Night Sorrow said to Jun Xuanji. Be careful. Jun Xuanji nodded. Night Sorrow moved his soul force and put Jun Xuanji into the 8-dragon cauldron. Then he continued to move forward. His body flashed rapidly, dodging one patrol after another. Night Sorrow was not far from the area where Ling Ju was. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow flashed into the 8-dragon cauldron. He controlled the 8-dragon cauldron to fly close to the ground. Now Night Sorrow's soul force was very strong. His original body was cultivating in the Haotian Divine Pagoda, and had already refined a drop of soul cultivation liquid. Now he controlled the 8-dragon cauldron to fly. Not only was it not difficult, but it was also very fast. Furthermore, his soul force was condensed and wouldn't cause any energy fluctuations. After successfully flying the 8-dragon cauldron into the palace, Night Sorrow knew that there was only one monarch realm cultivator, Ling Ju. Killing Ling Ju wouldn't be difficult. The main thing was to retreat. After the 8-dragon cauldron entered the main hall, Night Sorrow flashed out of the 8-dragon cauldron. He waved his hand and executed the Death Destruction Slash. Without the presence of a heaven monarch, this was an opportunity. He couldn't hesitate. The Death Destruction Slash triggered a soul spirit attack halo that enveloped Ling Ju. Night Sorrow's spatial ren seemed to have traveled through time and space. In an instant, it pierced through Ling Ju's head and destroyed his soul spirit. With a wave of his hand, Night Sorrow kept Ling Ju's storage ring and crystal ball. He then activated the teleportation disc and left the main hall. Just as Night Sorrow's figure disappeared, Ling Tianyu arrived. He was riding on a Heaven Monarch Realm puppet. He noticed the energy fluctuation of Night Sorrow's attack and activated the puppet to rush over. However, it was all too late. Ling Tianyu looked at everything coldly. At this moment, the pale-faced Ling Ju had also arrived. It was his clone. Earlier on, his clone was cultivating his combat skills somewhere else and managed to escape. However, the death of his original body was equivalent to destroying everything he had. In the following days, he would just be living. That was all. He wouldn't have any more achievements, and he wouldn't be able to reproduce and enjoy human relationships. Who is it? Ling Tianyu looked at his nephew and asked. It's Night Sorrow's clone. He sneak attacked me and took away that elemental soul and my storage ring. Ling Ju said with hatred. This time, he had suffered a great loss. His real body is in the black-yellow great world. That's right. It seems that he has a doppelganger in the Samsara great world. The woman with the original soul is someone close to him. Of course, he won't let you refine her. We were careless. Don't wander around during this time. After we deal with this, we will retreat. Ling Tianyu said. At the same time, he looked around. However, there was no trace of Night Sorrow. He also understood that Night Sorrow had left and wouldn't be waiting here to be attacked. After Night Sorrow teleported out using the teleportation disc, he dismantled the teleportation array and continued flying. At the same time, he sent Jun Xuanji out of the 8-dragon cauldron and gave him the crystal ball that contained the soul spirit power. Jun Xuanji's jade-like hand trembled as he crushed the crystal ball and absorbed the soul spirit power into his divine sea. Night Sorrow, thank you. The crisis has been resolved. Jun Xuanji looked at Night Sorrow apologetically. This time it was equivalent to dragging Night Sorrow into danger. Alright, be careful in the future. After sending Jun Xuanji to the Heavenly Tiger Pass, Night Sorrow said. Jun Xuanji nodded at Night Sorrow and stepped into the teleportation array. After sending Jun Xuanji off, Night Sorrow went to the Fog Grand Canyon and took the teleportation array back to the black-yellow great world. Where did you go? Seeing Night Sorrow return, Datura asked. I went to kill someone, Night Sorrow said after pouring himself a cup of tea. Kill who? Datura looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. I killed Ling Ju, Ling Tian's son. He wanted to refine Jun Xuanji's soul. I went to kill him and snatched Jun Xuanji's soul back. Night Sorrow said. Chapter 1456. Night Sorrow smiled apologetically at Datura and explained the situation in detail. At first, he didn't say anything because he didn't want Datura to worry. Now that the matter was over, he told her everything. Yes, we should have taken action. But you should have told me about this. We should have discussed it. You took too big a risk this time, Datura said to Night Sorrow. I know. I had no choice this time. Lingju wants to refine Jun Xuanji's soul. This matter is too serious, Night Sorrow explained. At this moment, Qing Emperor and Misty Rain arrived. Datura explained the situation to them. This time, I sent my clone to fight. They should think that my clone was originally in the reincarnation world. After all, in the eyes of ordinary people, if the teleportation array is connected, we will kill our way back. Besides, I had no choice but to take action this time, Night Sorrow said. It doesn't matter what they think. This is the situation. In fact, we should kill our way back now. It's just that we can't get away from here. Besides, Ling Tian will also estimate that we will set up a teleportation array. There might be a discrepancy in his estimation of the time, Qing Emperor said. In other words, there are two possibilities. Either they fight us to the death or they retreat, Datura said. Actually, the possibility of them retreating is higher. After all, they benefited from it and obtained a lot of resources. After retreating, the threat of the rank 9 corpse will still be there, Qing Emperor analyzed. But we can only continue to wait. If we kill our way back, the situation here won't be good, Datura sighed. This situation was very depressing for her. That's true. So for the sake of the big picture, we can only wait and see, Qing Emperor nodded. Datura Chinensis must be killed. She is too big a threat. She can pretend to be a Luo and give us a fatal blow, Night Sorrow said. That's simple. We need you to hold the fort here. We need you to take care of this evil weapon. Sister-in-law and I will head back and kill that fella. Zhan Tan, who had been silent all this while, spoke up. That works too. But you have to be careful. If that rank 9 corpse appears, crush my messaging crystal. After pondering for a moment, Night Sorrow said. At the same time, he brought out several defensive array discs. Some were for escaping, while others were for messaging crystals. Then Datura and Zhan Tan set off. Everyone knew how dangerous Datura Chinensis was. After Datura and Sandalwood left, Night Sorrow took out Lingju's storage ring. He used his soul power to destroy Lingju's soul imprint and opened the ring. After opening it, Night Sorrow cursed. Lingju's storage ring contained too many resources. There were close to 1.5 million Saint Spirit stones, as well as all sorts of equipment and alchemy materials. These weren't Lingju's personal assets. Night Sorrow came to the conclusion that these were the resources that the celestial sect had plundered. At this moment, other than anger, Lingju was also afraid. Not only had his main body been killed by Night Sorrow, but he had also lost all the resources he had plundered from the region he was in charge of. All the resources were in his main body's storage ring. Now that he had lost it, he naturally understood that Night Sorrow had erased his soul imprint. Lingju couldn't explain this to Ling Tian. He could only look for Ling Tianyu and hope that he could speak up for him. Lingju, you are responsible for this matter. However, it's not entirely your fault that the other party came to our base to kill you. When the time comes, I will talk to the sect lord. Ling Tianyu sighed. Lingju's loss of resources was not a small loss for the celestial sect. When the celestial sect started the war, they had gained the most from quickly conquering Reincarnation City. Before they could conquer the other cities, they had already retreated with their resources. Therefore, their gains weren't that great. Lingju had kept the resources he had plundered from the Sima Manor and Fiend Valley, but now they were all in Night Sorrow's hands. After checking the resources, Night Sorrow smiled. This was equivalent to giving him more capital. After organizing the resources, Night Sorrow continued to cultivate. Although he was worried about Datura and Sandalwood's situation, he really couldn't leave this place. He had no choice but to save Jun Xuanji because of the urgent situation. He couldn't be so impulsive now. Night Sorrow's doppelganger cultivated the battle will, while his main body comprehended the will in the clear sky pagoda. At the same time, he refined the soul cultivation liquid. Night Sorrow could have refined the soul cultivation liquid long ago. However, his main body was always in a state of enlightenment and didn't have the time. Now there was no problem. Night Sorrow needed time. Night Sorrow realized that he didn't have enough time. He felt that he couldn't keep up with the pace. Fortunately, he had dealt with the dangers in the past. After 3 days, Datura and Sandalwood returned. Seeing the smile on Datura's face, Night Sorrow knew that it was a success. Before Night Sorrow could ask, Datura took out a crystal ball. It's done. This is the power of her soul. She and I share the same origin. After refining it, our fate will become one. Very good. Then I have to congratulate you. Did you completely kill her? Night Sorrow asked. Very completely. Her soul is here, and her body is already in the dark abyss. Datura nodded. How did you deal with the dark abyss? Night Sorrow asked again. I didn't deal with it. Let nature take its course. If I were to clean up the dark abyss, I might be attacked. It's not very appropriate. Datura said. You handled it well. Night Sorrow nodded. D only knew Q others too why piracy. The Celestial sect didn't make any response. They couldn't make any response. The rank 9 corpse was in the plunder array. Sensing danger, the Celestial sect retreated under Ling Tianyu's arrangements. They disappeared in the blink of an eye. Qing Emperor and the others were puzzled. After investigating, they found that all the core members of the Celestial sect had disappeared. Even the headquarters of the Celestial sect couldn't find any core members. The heavenly monarchs of the reincarnation world all returned under Qing Emperor's arrangements to stabilize the situation. Night Sorrow, what's going on with the Celestial sect? Qing Emperor was a little puzzled. They shouldn't be just after resources. If they were just after resources, they could be more ruthless and collect a large amount of resources from other affiliated worlds. They wouldn't have offended so many top forces and run away after robbing some resources. Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. You're right. We must have overlooked something important. We have to investigate this carefully. Qing Emperor nodded. He agreed with Night Sorrow's point of view. A few days passed, and they didn't find any news about the Celestial sect. Now the people of the Celestial sect were in the Kuan lower world, and all the entrances and exits were closed. Only the Celestial sect could enter and exit from the Kuan lower world. They had a transmission formation in the Kuan lower world that led to a small island in the endless sea of the reincarnation world. You're tuning into the Echoes of the Heart YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.